Welcome to Fanfiction Audiobooks. Marvel, Master Ancient One, I'm going down. 081 Eloquent Tongue. Convince Professor X to cooperate with Magneto. Sheen, I'm curious, why don't you try the mutant inhibitor, can it completely solve your problem? As soon as Sheen Hao finished speaking, both Professor X and Sheen trembled in their hearts. In fact, Sheen Hao knew that there was no way to eliminate Phoenix Force. Even if it is smashed, it can go back to breed again. But he still said this sentence in a strange way. Phoenix Force. Sheen Hao yearned and feared. Phoenix in the movie, the final ending is Blacken. Controlled by a Phoenix Force, not controlled by a Phoenix Force. This situation is really unbelievable. The reason why Sheen Hao said such words was because he was thinking about a problem. If Sheen is no longer mutant, will Phoenix Force leave her? If you really want to leave her, doesn't that solve the possibility of gene Blacken? Anyway, that kind of medicine is actually only suppressing, not completely eliminating the mutant gene. In the movie, the mental power of Professor X, who was torn apart by Sheen, entered the body of a brain-dead patient. And Magneto, who was stabbed by the injection, still has the ability to manipulate metal here. Sheen Mage, please don't say such things. Professor X spoke very solemnly. No, I mean it. This time, Sheen Hao was also serious. What's the meaning? At this time, Sheen felt Sheen Hao's seriousness. I just wandered around in your sea of spiritual consciousness, and I also know something. Your ability seems to be called Phoenix Force. Right. Yes, this is something we have studied for a long time before we know. Phoenix Force has super powerful power, so I will be called Phoenix. Then, this also means that there are actually two kinds of power in your body, one is the power of your being a mutant. The other is the Phoenix Force, so have you ever thought about it, if your mutant ability is gone, will the Phoenix Force still be there? Sheen Hao asked a question that stunned them. Especially Piano. All she has been thinking about is suppressing the power in her body. It never occurred to me to let that power go. Because of this matter, they never thought of it at all. Is this kind of thing possible? Sheen at the moment heartbeat. I don't know, I just have this feeling. Just now I saw a very astonishing scene in your sea of consciousness. Your sea of consciousness is like a starry sky, and Phoenix Force is a phoenix soaring in the starry sky. Those Phoenix Forces are constantly penetrating your spiritual body. It seems to have taken a fancy to your mental body. The whole process is as if you are connected to another universe. In that universe, the Phoenix Force is constantly traveling through the universe, and seems to want to merge with you. But if your body has no abilities, it is no longer a mutant. So will this Phoenix Force still see you? Will it give up on you and find a new host? Sheen Hao exhausted his guess. When this guess was raised, Sheen was stunned. Is that so? Although I don't know if that's the case. But there is nothing wrong with the logic of the matter. No. Jane, bite the thought. In case your ability disappears, will the Phoenix Force still infiltrate your body? Even if your power disappears, Phoenix Force cannot be suppressed directly. When the Phoenix Force breaks out directly, none of us will know what will happen in the end. Professor X is going to stop this crazy idea. Professor X, as you said, if Sheen's ability disappears, you don't know what will happen. At that time, what if humans use injections to inject Sheen directly? At that time, who can guarantee what will happen? Even if Sheen doesn't use it, you must keep the potions that can cure mutant in your own hands. In case Sheen really gets out of control one day, it may be a backup method. But if you don't do anything, who can stop Sheen from losing control? You have seen her sea of consciousness, once her power erupts, who can stop it? If that happens, just wait for mutant to disappear from this world. Or, all humans disappear together. Sheen Hao at the moment is like a demon, constantly instilling such thoughts. In fact, if only this world were just a thing in the Marvel movie universe. Then all the power is weakened, and the damage caused may be limited. But if it is a world that integrates the devastating power in the comics, so whatever Phoenix Force or Origin Magic power, all will be the power to destroy the world. And these two kinds of power are in the hands of two women who can't fully control them. If it really got out of control, Qin Hao couldn't guarantee that someone would stop them. This is also the reason why he was able to bind the Phoenix Force, but he still has not been bound. He doesn't believe he can perfectly control the Phoenix Force. I have a lifespan of thousands of years, isn't it good to live well? Do you really want to be a short-lived ghost like Qin? Professor X also seemed a bit decadent when he heard Qin Hao's words. Qin Mo was right. He is old. The time that can stop Qin is also limited. At that time, something really happened, and the final result is hard to say. Qin at the moment is completely moved. Charles, I think Qin Mage is right. Even if we don't use that potion, we still have to keep some of it in our hands. Even if you object to this matter, I will do it. I don't want to lose control of myself one day and all of you disappear. Hearing Qin's words, Charles also had to take it seriously. Qin's strength really exploded, much stronger than him. I can force others. Even Magneto can control it himself. But Qin, he dare not. Now Qin made such a request. Then he has to think about it. This time, he felt Qin Hao's difficulty. He couldn't figure out why Qin Hao kept asking Qin to do such a thing. He even felt regretful about asking Qin Hao to help build the spiritual cage this time. In addition, I have a piece of news for you, the kind of medicine developed by humans now. It cannot completely eliminate your mutant gene, it can only be suppressed. At least for level 4 mutants like the Professor, and level 5 mutants like Qin you can only be suppressed. As for the other levels of mutants, whether they should be completely eliminated or suppressed, I don't know for the time being. Qin Hao at the moment also sent a key message. That potion can't completely wipe out the mutant gene. For the 4th level mutant, it can only be suppressed. How do you know this news? Professor X feels incredible. He can invade the minds of many people. He even hacked all the personnel of the Institute for this. There is no report that the medicine can only suppress but not eliminate. In fact, he knows that there is a drug that can suppress the mutant gene. Beast Hank made it for him. But that kind of medicine will lose its effect as long as you don't use it. The future. When you see the future through the fog, you can find the answer to many things. Qin Hao gave an answer like a magic stick. But this answer made Professor X completely accept it. The future? It turns out that there are really people who can see through the future. I see, I will talk to Eric about this matter. Maybe this time, we will join forces again. Jean, let's go to the brainwave strengthening machine, and I'm going to contact Eric. Once there is a decision, Professor X will do it directly. Jean at the moment is also worried. This matter is now beginning to involve her future. What if she made the wrong choice? Pushing the Professor X, the two came directly to the brainwave strengthening room. Among the endless crowd, he found the mutant gathered together. And through Juggernaut's eyes, he saw Magneto. Eric, I'm Charles, I have something to tell you. When Magneto, who was speaking, heard this, he looked a little angry. Charles, what, you want to help manpower again and persuade us to give up? This time, it's war. Humans have used potions and weapons, and they won't give up. This time, it is impossible for you to stop me. Magneto has clearly thought of the purpose of Professor X. No, okay, I'm not here to stop you this time. This time, we have to cooperate, and the power that can heal us must be in our own hands. Hearing what Charles said, Magneto froze for a moment. Charles, why do you have such an idea this time? You have always been a staunch person who wants peace, why did you do something that clearly violated your past commitments this time? Magneto at the moment is clearly disbelieving. That's not Charles's character. Jean. You should know Jean's ability. If one day, Jean gets out of control, who among us can stop it? I came to you for the sake of peace. So, Charles, what exactly do you want to do? Eric, don't worry, we need to contact Beast Hank now. If this matter can be resolved peacefully, it will be resolved peacefully. If it cannot be resolved peacefully, it is not too late for us to use force. The why? Charles, since this is the case, I will trust you for now, and I will come to you to discuss how to do it. Okay, someone will come to pick you up soon. After Professor X said these words through Juggernaut's mouth, he immediately disconnected. Immediately afterwards, a circle shining with yellow light gradually appeared. Hi, Magneto, long time no see. 082 Binding Duplication. Strengthening Illusion. Hi, Magneto, long time no see. I buy it, it's this person again. Magneto felt bad when he saw the yellow circle. After hearing this voice, he was even more sure that the other party was indeed the one he didn't like. Qin Hao. Mage of the East. The guy who prevented himself from using the controlled Charles to fight back against humans. Most importantly, he ruined his own helmet. Hey, Magneto, it seems like you don't want to see me. Magneto's face was visibly grim. You destroyed my helmet last time, and it took me a long time to find someone who can repair it. How do you want me to welcome you? Well, in fact, as long as you don't mess around, I won't do anything to you. The last time I told you not to think about exterminating human beings, you didn't listen, so I did it. Qin Hao is not in vain now. His appearance has attracted the attention of all the mutants here. A mysterious mutant capable of opening portals. Magneto, if there is this mutant to open the portal, what we have to do seems to be much simpler. I used to think that I was capable of robbing several banks at the same time by myself. But if you have this kind of ability, you don't need to grab it at all. Just open the door and take it. On the side, Multiple Man seemed to have discovered something remarkable. Hey, are you Multiple Man? Qin Hao recognized Multiple Man immediately. He came here this time, and he just wanted to try to see if he could bind the ability of Multiple Man. If he can bind, it will be much more convenient to do things then. However, he guessed that this was impossible. With the gradual help of the system, my body is developing towards uniqueness more and more. If duplication is really bound, it will destroy the development of the 750 system a bit. He grabbed Multiple Man's hand. Ding, the ability duplication is detected, it can strengthen illusion, and illusion duplication will use magic power to condense entities. The system gave him a special reminder. Strengthening. It's strengthening again. The last time I got the strengthening ability was the strengthening of self-healing. Binding. Ding, duplication ability strengthening illusion duplication. Nanli builds entities. A strange knowledge entered Qin Hao's mind. He knows the power of this ability. When Loki and Thor fought in Bifrost, Loki has transformed countless duplications. But when Thor went down with the hammer, his duplication was broken directly. But now I have a strengthened duplication ability. These duplications are all their own magical components. If there is a special situation, he can even detonate the magic power directly. Moreover, because it is composed of magic power, his duplication can directly cast magic. Qin Hao thought about it for a while. It seems that Gate of Secret Law, Concrete Magic Weapon, and Mirror Dimension are magic. The others are abilities that can touch others. This duplication ability doesn't seem to be as powerful as imagined. Or should I study it carefully? Qin Hao thought about such a thing in his heart. Qin Mage. Thank you last time. I misunderstood you before. At this time, a woman came over. She solemnly thanked Qin Hao and apologized. Death Girl. The dead woman who was rescued by Qin Hao from Striker. She has a powerful self-healing ability. Abage, the 10 fingers can extend the claws made by adamantium. Originally also a martial arts master. The strength should not be underestimated. Death Girl, what happened last time has passed, it seems that you are doing well here. Fortunately, I was saved by you last time, otherwise maybe I wouldn't have been controlled by others in a daze. Very good, then we can go to Xavier's school and have a good chat. Now that I have something to do, I have to talk to him first. By the way, Magneto, who are you going to arrange to go to Professor X this time? Qin Hao turned to face Magneto. Death Girl, Juggernaut, Burning Man, Night Walker, you guys come with me. Those named by Magneto came out one after another. Seeing this, Qin Hao warmly shook hands with Juggernaut and Night Walker. Ha, I've seen Death Girl and Pyro, are you Juggernaut? What's your mutant ability? After Qin Hao finished speaking, he grabbed Juggernaut's hand. Ding, detected Juggernaut moving impact. I don't know how to name the Juggernaut in the movie, there is only one commentary, it can't be stopped when it moves. Pick up and bind CD plus, 23:56:25. Qin Hao was overjoyed when he heard the system's voice. This ability can be bound, and then the physical combat power will become even more terrifying. Juggernaut was a little uncomfortable being greeted with such a warm handshake. Fortunately, Qin Hao loosened the bridle immediately, and then came to the side of the night-walking girl. You are the Night Walker? I heard that you can sense the level of mutant. Can you sense my level? Qin Hao grabbed the hand of Night Walking Girl again. Ding, it's detected that the Night Walker rapid movement is at 23 hours 54 minutes and 49 seconds in the group binding CD. This time, the system did not detect the other party's induction ability, but moved quickly. It seems that the system is going further and further on the road of turning Qin Hao into a physical reckless man. You are not a mutant. The night girl said something that stunned everyone on the scene. Hearing this, Magneto looked a little dignified. He always thought that Qin Hao was a mutant, that's why he saved Charles. But now I get a different message. Impossible? He can freeze Iceman, can control metal like Magneto, isn't he a mutant? Burning Man at the moment is kind of unbelievable. He always thought that Qin Hao was a powerful mutant. No, he's not, but he's not common, he's a weird existence, like. The dead woman said that she fell into deep thought, as if she didn't know how to describe Qin Hao. It's like a superhuman who is not a mutant, but can hold a lot of abilities, a human who is more evolved than our mutant. She thought for a long time, and finally came up with a general description. Humans are more evolved than us. Magneto looked at Qin Hao, seemingly thoughtful. So you're still the future of mutant? Qin Hao is so indifferent, at the moment is also a little confused. Huh? Is he a human being who has evolved more than mutant? This is really more than how to complain. This matter seems to have nothing to do with the present, let's go to Xavier's school and have a good talk. Qin Hao waved his hand, and a secret door appeared again. This time, directly in Professor X's office. He came in first, followed by the others. At the moment, there are quite a few people in Professor X's office. Harmony, Storm, Cyclops, Wolverine, and Beast Hank. Eric, you are here, find a place to sit. Charles, this time, I want to know what happened to make you make such a decision. Magneto didn't mean to beat around the bush in the slightest. Peace. Survival. This is my purpose, but if you want peace, long-term peace, you need to eliminate some hidden dangers. Drugs developed by humans are a hidden danger, and Qin, which is gradually getting out of control, is also a hidden danger. This time, we need to take that mutant potion into our own hands. Charles informed everyone of his conclusion after the quarrel with Qin Hao. Especially the terrifying potential of the violin body as a level 5 mutant. And the horrible consequences that she can't control her own power and may lose control at any time. Knowing all this, Nightwalker glanced at Jean. The hidden huge power shocked her. In her proximity, Jean's mutant ability is like a smoking volcano. Nocturnal Girl can't sense how deep and strong her bottom is. It is really hard to believe what kind of impact this kind of power will get out of control in the end. So, Hank, do you think you can get Jimmy and the potion through your identity? At least until we're still fighting humans on a large scale. Although humans have powerful weapons. But this time when they really fought, the final consequences would not be simple. Magneto at the moment asked Beast directly. What he wants is actually mutants' rights. If it can be obtained without fighting, it is definitely the best. No, they used potions on weapons without authorization. I am very angry about this, so I have already submitted my resignation. Now it was almost impossible to convince them to hand over Jimmy in their own capacity. Also, Jimmy's ability is the ability to eliminate all mutants. Once our mutants get close to each other, they will lose their mutant ability. This is what I have asked God to experience. So when the time comes for research or rescue, this should also be taken into consideration. For example, Wolverine, if he meets Jimmy, he will lose the self-healing he relies on. Steel will return to his physical body when he meets Jimmy. Charles will not be able to use his mind ability when he meets Jimmy. Do you understand the danger of such a thing? Hank at the moment is a bit regretful. He seems to have resigned a bit early. And he told everyone all the news he knew. Others really don't know about this situation. Even Magneto at the moment is thankful. If the reckless self approached the opponent during the battle, then once he loses his ability, he might be killed directly. Everyone at the scene felt this solemnity. So, what to do next? Who has a better way? Magneto looked at everyone in the room. Can Jean Mage just open the door and go inside, and rescue GCAI out of the shit? 083 Save Jimmy. X Gene Suppression. Can Mage Jean just open the door and go inside, and rescue Jimmy? The dead girl at the moment spoke nervously. Everyone was taken aback when they heard this method. Professor X still doesn't know the fact that Jean Hao is not a mutant. Did you not understand that mutant's ability will disappear by Jimmy's side? He opened the door, and the door would disappear when Jolie lost it. Beast Hank emphasized it again. He is not a mutant. Magneto said a fact that shocked Professor X. Not mutant. This. Then why is he still here to participate in the matter of mutant? He is the possibility of mutant evolution. All abilities in one. Magneto said something that shocked everyone even more. The evolution of mutant is possible. All abilities in one. What does this description represent? Represents hope. Jean Hao finally understood why Magneto believed in him so easily. Magneto is a true racial protectionist. It's not impossible to do this, but in this way, it is equivalent to declaring war with humans. Beast Hank knew the least about Jean Hao. But he knew the consequences of doing so. After all, Jimmy is a unique skill of human beings. If she disappears, humans will definitely be dispatched on a large scale. When Jean Hao heard this method, he turned in his mind. This is the simplest and clearest way. Moreover, he also thought of a horrible thing. If you bind Jimmy's ability, then any mutant will become a common person in front of him. All mutants will be powerless against themselves. He can even be said to be the god of mutant. There was another even more terrifying thought in his mind. If he has such an ability, can he try to bind Phoenix Force? Phoenix Force likes the piano. But I bound it again. What will it do then? A battle between the system and the Phoenix Force? Leaving a little power duplication for myself? If so, is it equivalent to owning Phoenix Force? The reason why Jean Hao had such an idea was because the Phoenix Force has always been incomplete in many hosts. Under the incomplete Phoenix Force, does it become very difficult for me to want Blacken? As soon as this idea comes out, he hugged the dead girl casually, and almost kissed her on the forehead. Fortunately, I came to my senses that men and women could not kiss each other. He held the dead woman's face in his hands, full of excitement. You are a genius, why didn't I think of it? Thank you for reminding me. That person, Jimmy, I am responsible for bringing him back. And what you will do is to deal with the war from human beings. Jean, you need to be prepared for things that might get out of hand. Qin Hao directly responded to the matter. The dead girl was holding her face by Qin Hao, and her face instantly turned red. Did he want to kiss me just now? He definitely wanted to kiss me just now, right? Should I refuse? He is my savior, would it be bad to refuse? I misunderstood him last time, won't this refusal make him misunderstand even more? Or let him kiss you? Or maybe a few more kisses? One question after another appeared in her mind. Others don't care about what the dead girl is thinking right now. A group of people began to discuss the next thing to face. First, we need a place that can be defended. Need to defend against attacks from humans. At the same time, it should not be too remote, otherwise humans are likely to use weapons of mass destruction. Magneto began to come up with ideas. No, they will, even in crowded places, they will use lethal weapons. The energy beam that appeared on the Stark building some time ago opened a space channel. They're talking about dropping a nuke on New York. So once things exceed their expectations, they will never care about the life and death of common people. Beast Hank has a shocking news for everyone. They all saw the hole in the New York sky some time ago. But the government actually thought of launching a nuclear bomb, which is really unexpected. How dare they give up the lives of thousands of people so casually? Everyone heard the words and felt heavy pressure. When Qin Hao heard this, he really didn't expect the other party to be like this. Nuclear bombs have become their conventional weapons. Or, was that a decision made by the people at Hydra? Then this matter is a bit troublesome, we need the ability to talk to them, but we can't push them into a hurry. Wolverine spoke helplessly from the side. Let's discuss it slowly. After discussing, call me. Oh, by the way, call me again at this time tomorrow. I'm going back to the mountain. Qin Hao took the initiative to retreat at this time. He didn't want to spend so much time here. Besides, even if Jimmy is rescued now, ability cannot be bound. Why rescue so early? After Qin Hao finished speaking, he turned around and opened a secret door. At this time, the death girl stopped him. What's up? Everyone looked at the dead girl. I'll go with you. She finished speaking and whispered a word in Magneto's ear. I'll see if he will tell the human government what we discussed. Magneto heard the words with a dignified expression. He nodded slowly. This matter is to be on guard. Are you coming with me? Qin Hao simply used his mental power to slightly invade the dead woman's brain. Immediately afterwards he felt bad all over himself. What she just said to Magneto is an excuse, the real reason is the other party playing his own mind? How many kisses are you okay with? Tut tut. Sure enough, handsome men are popular. The Lady of Death followed him through the door of the secret law. Charles watched the two disappear, and he clearly knew what the dead woman was thinking. He doesn't care about this kind of thing. Perhaps it's time for the bases we prepared to come in handy this time. Charles said solemnly. Base. Then activate a base. X-Men, Days of Future Past hideout. Magneto nodded in agreement. The next day, Qin Hao received a call from Professor X. Qin Hao brought the dead girl to the Professor X school. Qin Mage, this time we will go to a place, and then you will quietly bring Jimmy there. As long as it is not exposed, human beings will be suspicious at most, and we still have room for change. 0. Ask for flowers. Eric will wait there with you, and Hank and I will negotiate with humans here. Try to procrastinate for some time. Professor X briefly explained his plan. Qin Hao probably understood. Magneto's side will move into a defensive base. And Jimmy will be placed there. The disappearance of Jimmy will trigger the attack of the human government. So then Hank will negotiate. And Professor X, as the mutant on the bright side, and has always been a mutant with good intentions, will come forward to deal with the pressure of the human government. This time, it is really a three-way cooperation. In this process, it is likely that they will face the most powerful attack of human beings. Then there might be a big battle. If that were the case, the people of Magneto would be a force. No problem, just take me to your base. Storm flew the plane and sent the group to their secret base. Qin Hao looked at everything familiar in front of him, and was a little dazed. 0. Isn't this the base in Reverse the Future? Only this time there are many devices here. Seems like a research institute. Qin Mage, it's up to you next. Magneto looked at Qin Hao and said solemnly. No problem. When Qin Hao waved his hand, a very small secret door appeared. Immediately afterwards, he threw a string of lightning directly through the secret door. Afterwards, he opened a normal secret door, and pulled out Jimmy, who was still in a daze. This set of operations is skillful and coherent. Everyone was dumbfounded. Why did you do that just now? The dead girl stayed with Qin Hao for a day yesterday, and today she obviously knows a lot. She asks questions directly. My secret door is so unique that the government already knows about it. If I open the door of the secret method openly, it will be easy for their surveillance to find out. So I opened a small arcane door that was barely noticeable. Then release lightning to destroy all electronic equipment inside. After that, no one will monitor them, and they can be brought out. Qin Hao briefly described his plan. He was also a little helpless. His portal is known to almost everyone. Rescuing Stark at Hammer Industrial Park had already drawn attention the last time. You have to be careful what you do. Oh, I see. Not only the dead girl understands, but everyone else understands. Who are you? Jimmy finally reacted at this time. He looked at the Night Walker who was supporting her, and the others, with doubts on his face. We are mutants, just like you. The Night Walker explained to the other party. But then, his face became terrified. I really can't sense the existence of mutant. She pushed Jimmy away and staggered back. It wasn't until he retreated to a certain extent that she sensed her own ability again. It's amazing. Qin Hao supported Jimmy, who was almost pushed. Don't worry, no one here will harm you. Ding, X gene inhibition is detected, is it bound to work? 084 Green Cyclops. S.H.I.E.L.D. Incoming investigation. 3 more. Ding, X gene suppression is detected, is it bound? The sound of the system rang in Qin Hao's ears. Binding. Ding, bind X gene suppression. Qin Hao suddenly felt a strange force appearing in his body. This kind of power is a passive ability in Jimmy's body, but it becomes an active ability in Qin Hao's body. That is to say, he can choose to activate this ability and make the mutant lose the ability in front of him. It is also possible to let mutant not have the slightest influence like a normal person. System, does this mean that I came into contact with a mutant, so I turned this ability into an active ability to avoid some unnecessary troubles? Qin Hao seemed to understand what the system meant. At this time, almost all the mutants came to Jimmy's side to try. Once it's within about a meter of Jimmy, all mutant abilities are lost. This is the powerful and terrifying ability. No wonder humans can make injections against our mutants. Such power must be in our own hands. Magneto at the moment made up his mind once again. What should we do next? Are we really waiting like this? Juggernaut's irascible temper was a bit off-putting. What he wants to do is fight, not wait here. Although you are very powerful, you have also seen what happened to Mystique. If you are impulsively stabbed by the opponent's injection, you will lose your mutant ability. Wouldn't things be better than this power that might threaten us? Magneto has his own agenda. But, with Charles's weak character, can he really win the interests of our mutant? Pyro was a bit scoffed at by Professor X. Boy, you weren't even born when Charles fought for the mutant. What you have to learn is respect, not slander. Magneto became very serious when he heard Pyro's slander. As he said, when their generation fought for mutant, these boys were not born yet. There is no room for this kid to slander. It has to be said that Magneto and Teaching X have loved and killed each other for 10 lifetimes. You guys wait here, I'll go to Professor X to have a look. Chen Hao got the power he wanted, but at the moment he didn't want to stay here anymore. I'm with you. The Death Woman once again asked to follow. Chen Hao opened the door of the secret method and the two came directly to Xavier's school. Has anyone been rescued? Professor X asked. It's been rescued, and we'll wait for their reaction. Can you stand it? If you can't stand it, you have to stand it. Cyclops looked serious. Jean Grey is his lover. What if you don't stand up at this time? Chen Hao looked at Cyclops and always felt that his head was shiny green. The private relationship between Jean Grey and Wolverine is really interesting. In the original version, Jean kills Cyclops, and Wolverine kills Jean. Cyclops became a cannon fodder. It's so tough here, it's really green. The loss of Jimmy directly caused tension in the entire laboratory. They start constantly looking for possible causes. What happened? The doctor in charge of developing the injection looked cautious. He's in a bad mood right now. His son has a pair of big wings and is even called Angel. I wanted to treat him, but the fruit jumped and flew away. Flew away? Who dares to believe it? Now that the most important experimental goal has disappeared, they will continue to study like this? Now the research results, they can only be copied but not manufactured. In other words, Jimmy's body must be present, so that they can continuously produce healing injections. But the other party is gone. Then what they can use is only those injections that have been produced. For the countless changing people in the whole society, this is still a drop in the bucket. The switch over there seemed to have been hit by a strong electric current and was opened directly. Not only that, all electronic equipment was damaged by this powerful electric current impact. So even the monitoring has disappeared. This matter should be done by a mutant with a powerful ability to control lightning. The subordinates reported the matter immediately. A mutant that controls lightning? Isn't there a mutant like that in Professor X? The person in charge seems to have thought of someone. Yes, we suspect it was she who did it. This is a mutant attack, and I'm going to report it to the president. The person in charge made a phone call to the president's office. An operator picked up the call and routed it to the president. What is it, King? The experimental subject we used to develop and cure mutant was rescued. The opponent will use a powerful thunder force, and we suspect that it is someone close to Professor X. What? That person was rescued? When did it happen? An hour ago. It took a little while for us to check. An hour ago? That couldn't have been done by the other party. Why? Because, the other party is in my office now. After hanging up the doctor's phone, the president looked at the two people in the office very solemnly. Mutant Foreign Minister Beast Hank. Xavier's school on behalf of Storm. The two of them came here specifically to explain that they wanted the laboratory to end the detention of mutant. And share that research result. Mutants who are willing to use injections can decide whether to use it or not. It also avoids the situation that many mutants are unwilling to come for treatment because they do not trust the government. Your request is useless, the experimental subject has been rescued. I'm curious, did you guys come here to attract my attention on purpose, and then just let the other party go? Mr. President is very smart. instantly thought of the truth. However, Hank and Storm obviously won't admit it. The two showed expressions of astonishment at the right time. What did you say? Rescued. Hank looked startled. Mr. President, isn't this a bitter trick you staged because you were unwilling to hand over each other? Have our fellow mutants been transferred to another place by you? We came here and talked for 2 hours, earlier it was fine, but now they tell us that people have disappeared. With Storm, this directly launched a language attack. All of this is arranged by them. In fact, although Qin Hao and Professor X have no language communication end. But at the level of mental power, the two have already discussed a lot. Save time. Way of salvation. Storm and Hank's delays and alibi. All of this is negotiated. Now, everything is on the President's side. We will investigate this matter carefully. Next, I will ask people to investigate this matter. The President spoke directly. Mr. President, I hope you can give us an accurate answer after the results, so we will leave. Storm directly chose to leave. At the moment she didn't know, she became the object of suspicion. But this doubt, the President proved it. Nick Fury received an assignment. A mission sent by the Global Safety Council. Investigate the truth behind the disappearance of Mutant and Jimmy. Nick Fury called out the news about Mutant Jimmy. One can use him as the main body to create a potion that heals Mutant, and this potion is used in weapons and equipment. This is really looking for death. Mutant's ability is unpredictable, but now it takes the initiative to attack. This is walking a tightrope, and now the tightrope is broken. Jimmy's disappearance, there is a mutant shot. A person who is suspected of being able to use the power of lightning. When Nick Fury thought of this, he subconsciously thought of two people. Thor and Qin Hao. These two seem to be able to use the power of thunder. And in their monitoring data, Storm under Professor X is also a mutant that can control lightning. This matter is really troublesome. Phil Coulson, come to my office. Director, what's the matter? Here is a mission to investigate the disappearance of Mutant, you take someone to investigate. Yes, Director. Phil Coulson received the information, turned and left. Office of Professor X. It has been a day since Jimmy was rescued, and after a day of deliberation and suffering, Jean finally decided to try whether she can completely eliminate her out-of-control ability in 4.0. Jean, are you sure you want to do this? Jean Mage and I have strengthened your spiritual cage for you, and you can live a normal life now. Professor X persuaded. Yes, Jean, you really need to do that first, you can wait until a certain day when you really can't control yourself. Cyclops is also persuading. Jean, you should think about this matter carefully, if you don't do well, the final result will not be ideal. Wolverine was also persuading. Tisk tisk, as soon as he opened his mouth, Cyclops turned greener. I know, in fact, I have already thought about it. The mental cage is not so effective in suppressing me now. Even today I have felt the loosening of the cage of my mind. I can't wait anymore. If I really wait until my spiritual cage is completely out of control, then there is really no way to save it. Now my sanity is still there, and I can still decide for myself. Really at that time, no one can decide for me. Jean Grey confirmed her thoughts. In that case, let's go to that base. Just us. Call Jean Mage. He won't be influenced by Jimmy, so he might be able to help when the time comes. 085 The piano out of control. Bind Phoenix Force. 4 more. Qin Hao touched Jimmy's X gene suppression yesterday, and is going to Magneto to touch another ability today. That Night Girl's fast movement is a nice ability. Or Juggernaut's move shock is also good. But at this moment, Professor X called. You mean, Jean is going to try to eliminate the Phoenix Force on her right now? Qin Hao was immediately depressed when he heard the news. Can't you be a few days late? Let yourself touch all those powers again? Professor X explained it over the phone. Okay, I understand, but I also need to make some quasi-versions. Qin Hao hung up the phone. Qin lost control gradually, and her strength improved gradually. In the early stage of losing control, Wolverine relied on her own self-healing ability to withstand it. I strengthened the self-healing ability on both sides and it was sure to hold up. Then at this time, you can look for a few people with strong physical bodies to attract the attention of the other party. Hulk. Hate. It seems that they want to find these two people back. He opened an arcane door to the Stark building. Hey, Tony, Dr. Banner, Abomination. As soon as he entered the door, he saw a person. Tony and Dr. Banner seemed to be discussing something. And Hate, fidgeting back and forth on Stark's rooftop. Hey, Qin Mage, take me away quickly, it's so boring here. I'd rather stay in your mirror dimension than stay here. If you use a little force, you will worry about breaking things here. The first time Hate saw Qin Hao, he ran towards him. The excited look is like a child who weighs 1,000 catties. He is so boring. Okay, this time I'm here to take 08 away, I need your help. And Dr. Banner, I need Hulk's help. You need Abomination and Hulk help? Is this serious? Dr. Banner instantly realized the seriousness of the matter. Best case scenario, nothing happens. The general situation is that our lives are in danger, but with our physical strength, we should be able to handle it. In the worst case, all the people on the earth will disappear together. Hearing Qin Hao's words, several people at the scene froze. Is the mage family playing so big? What are they protecting? Hey, it's serious, do you need my help? Tony took the initiative to speak. He has been constantly upgrading the mecha, just to deal with more and more crises. Even the discussion between him and Banner just now was to discuss the creation of a suit that can restrain big guys like Hulk and Abomination. He felt that he had that ability to participate. No, your body is too weak. Qin Hao rejected the other party without any hesitation. Too weak? What the hell? Tony has nothing to say. You too, would you like it? Qin Hao confirmed to Dr. Banner and Abomination again. Ha, as long as you don't stay here, if there is danger, there will be a fight, and I will definitely go. Hate seems suffocated. As long as he fights, it doesn't matter whether he is in danger or not. I'll go too, but you'll ask me to call out Hulk in advance. Dr. Banner has no hesitation either. He was worried about Hulk coming out with someone else. But with Qin Hao, he didn't care. Because Qin Hao has a body and space that Hulk can't break. Hulk is there, capable of wanton destruction. Let's go, Tony, and see you later, if we can. Qin Hao opened a secret door and sent the three of them directly to Professor X's office. When Tony heard Qin Hao's words, he directly called Nick Fury. Qin Mage came to take away the Abomination and Banner, he needed the help of the Abomination and Hulk. And I said, if this matter is not handled well, all the people on the earth will disappear. We need to be ready. Nick Fury was shocked when he heard Tony's words. They have a deep understanding of Qin Hao's strength in the mirror dimension of New York. For such a powerful person, he actually wanted the help of Hulk and Abomination, and the level of this matter was directly promoted to the most advanced by him. Countless agents took action. And all the departments under its jurisdiction have also been arranged to take action. This action shocked almost everyone who knew about SHIELD. Like, the president who asked the Global Security Council to investigate the mutant affair. Almost a mutant always thing, so serious? Could it be that I was really wrong? And so a wonderful misunderstanding arose. Office of Professor X. Seeing the hatred behind Qin Hao, everyone subconsciously took precautions. Hate. A big guy who fought against another guy on the streets of New York earlier and caused a lot of losses. This time, he actually came. It turned out that he was taken away by Qin Hao Mage. Go over there first, and then I will arrange what to do next. Another secret door, the group was directly sent to the secret base. Magneto brought people here. Why are you all here? Jean decided to try to solve her hidden dangers early. Professor X briefly explained why. Jean Hao then spoke directly. This time things are very important, so I also need to be prepared. Because the piano is likely to lose control, and those who are not physically strong here will need to leave. Those who can stay this time, Abomination, Banner, Wolverine, Juggernaut, Death Girl, and me. Everyone else I will open the door for you to leave. This place is likely to be directly destroyed this time. So then you have to get ready. If Jean loses control, not only you mutants, but everyone may be finished. Hearing Jean Hao's words, the group of mutant looked at each other in dismay. Is it so serious? I understand that the others are staying. This Banner, who looks very weak, also stays. Pyro begins to question Banner. Banner, you can transform now. You should be thankful that I have a good temper. After Banner finished speaking, his whole body gradually swelled. Hulk! Smash! A green titan as huge as the Abomination appeared in front of everyone. Pyro swallowed. This almost courted death. Everyone, just follow Jean Mage's arrangement. Charles, don't talk, it's no good to chatter. Magneto spoke directly. Even he blocked Professor X, who still wanted to talk. A secret door, irrelevant people disappear directly. Jean stayed behind, and the other one was Jimmy in the distance. Mirror dimension. On. A mirror dimension directly surrounds everyone in it. Jimmy, next you need to use your mutant ability, and then I will teleport you away. Jean Hao simply explained to Jimmy. Jean, come here. Hearing this, Jean walked towards Jimmy cautiously. When they were less than 1 meter apart, Jean Grey felt a feeling she had never felt before. My super ability has disappeared. X gene suppression on. Jean Hao at the moment quietly opened his ability. An arcane portal then teleports Jimmy to Professor X. Now, it is Jean Hao who is restricting Jean Gilei with his own ability. Me, my super ability is gone. I'm not out of control. Ha ha ha. Jean's excited voice sounded. Wolverine ran over and hugged Jean. It's fine if you're fine, it's fine if you're fine. Jean Hao's eyes twitched. Cyclops' heads are greener. Hate looked depressed. The matter is over like this? Isn't it a big battle of talking? Hulk! Hulk! Hulk even ran constantly in Jean Hao's mirror dimension directly angrily. If there is no war, what will he come out for? Juggernaut was still dazed until at the moment. He didn't know that he had entered the mirror dimension. I don't even understand what happened to at the moment. The dead woman stood quietly beside Jean Hao, and then her expression changed. Her super ability is gone. Death Girl, stay away from me. Jean Hao's spiritual power resounded in the dead woman's mind. The dead woman left Jean Hao obediently. Immediately afterwards, she felt the lost super ability regained again. A bold idea appeared in her mind. Jean Hao can also suppress the mutant gene. These 983 mages are so mysterious. Hey, don't be too happy too soon. Jean Grey, whose mutant gene was suppressed, became a common. Jean Hao easily invaded her mental power into her sea of consciousness. Here, the spiritual cage has disappeared. And Jean Grey's soul, at the moment, was safely kept in the sea of consciousness. Her originally one face with two faces, at the moment has only one face. It seems that Jean's dark side really disappeared with the super ability gone. Without the dark side, Jean can easily control herself without worrying about any loss of control. This is the reason she is most excited. If everything develops according to this way, the team situation has been resolved. But Jean Hao discovered something else. The cosmic starry sky beyond the mirror. The flying phoenix appeared a little bit confused. He could not feel the soul that attracted him. With his confusion, the entire universe starry sky began to oscillate. A huge phoenix force directly broke through the mirror-like sea of consciousness. They frantically searched for that mutated soul in Qin's sea of consciousness. However, they can only find a normal soul. No powers whatsoever. Phoenix force raged wildly in her sea of consciousness. Ability piano. What he needs is a supernatural harp. Qin Hao's intruding spiritual power was dispelled as soon as it touched the Phoenix force. When he realized something was wrong, he quickly reminded everyone. Everyone is ready to fight. Qin Gilei, who was so excited just now, suddenly exudes a huge force at the moment. Wolverine, who was hugging Jean Grey, was the first to be devastated by this force. Boom! Wolverine was directly blown away by Jean Grey's power. Boom boom boom! He flew tens of meters in the mirror dimension. Sure enough, things are not that simple. Qin Mo was less than 1 meter away from Qin Gilei. Just when his mental power was driven away and her power was just activated, Qin Hao's hand had already touched Qin Gilei's body. Ding! Phoenix forces detected. Is it bound? Bind. 086 Battle Phoenix. Compete for Phoenix Force. 5 more. Ding! Phoenix forces detected. Is it bound? Binding. Ding! Bind Phoenix Force. Continuously binding. The out-of-control Qin Gilei suddenly showed the power of red. The force just knocked Wolverine away. Even Qin Hao was not spared and flew out directly. But as Qin Hao binds Phoenix Force, his body is also dyed with a layer of red energy. Phoenix Force. The Phoenix Force that the system has just bound. Not only that, although at the moment Qin Hao was blown away, but the red energy in his body is still connected with Qin Gilei. Endless power is still pouring into Qin Hao's body constantly. His body is constantly bearing the changes of this force. Keep binding. This is the continuous binding of the system. Phoenix Force comes from the primordial universe, born at the beginning of all things. Chaos is immortal, eternal but impermanent. His strength is unbelievable. Even all the time, his power has not been fully manifested. Every time it appears, it is part of the Phoenix Force. This time, what Qin Hao has to do is to deprive Qin of part of the Phoenix Force. 088. Out of control, Jean Grey roared. Because Qin Hao was bounced away, her abilities returned again. And this time, the huge Phoenix Force directly found the soul he likes. They are gradually integrating. In the depths of its soul sea, that terrifying face occupies the main position. At the moment Jean Grey has become Dark Phoenix. Her roar echoed directly in the entire mirror dimension. Even Qin Hao's mirror dimension at the moment is constantly collapsing. This time, it seemed that it was because of Qin Hao's participation, or he suppressed Qin's ability. The Phoenix Force that came out directly surpassed the peak moments in film and television. Phoenix Force, so terrifying. Mage, look at what you've done. You have to make Jean try to eliminate her ability, and now it's all like this. Wolverine angrily began to accuse Qin Hao. Hulk, shut up that talkative guy. Qin Hao directly called Hulk to tell Wolverine to shut up. Hulk. Smash. Boom. While Hulk was roaring, taking advantage of Wolverine's inattention, he directly punched the opponent hundreds of meters away. Hey guys, this time let's play your part. Get her attention, I'm sharing her energy now, just keep at it and she'll recover from the runaway. Death Girl, attracting his attention in front of her eyes. Juggernaut, run. If you can knock her out, you are the strongest mutant. Hate, Hulk, you're welcome, just smash it. Qin Hao started the arrangement directly. Hulk. Smash. Hulk rushed towards the out-of-control Qin in a frenzy. Faster than him, is Juggernaut. He ran like a tank, really. The mirror dimension that was about to collapse stepped on a crack while running. After waiting for a long time, it finally started. Hate at the moment is also a face of evil smile. Fighting. All he wants is to fight. The dead woman obeyed Qin Hao's arrangement and moved constantly in front of Qin's eyes. Mortal! How dare you block my coming? The sound of the piano became strange. On the outside of her body, at the moment has been completely surrounded by red. A phoenix-shaped energy group is growing constantly. Boom! Juggernaut was the first to hit Qin's energy cluster. Qin's body staggered slightly. However, Juggernaut only bumped her into a stagger. The originally imagined direct collision did not occur at all. Moreover, he who claimed to be unstoppable when he moved was directly stopped in place by that layer of energy. Hulk! Smash! Hulk's huge body fell from the sky. His violent punch went straight to Qin's head. Boom! This berserk fist only hit the energy phantom of Phoenix Force. Ha! The abomination is worthy of being a trained special warrior. He directly attacked Qin. With a body weighing 1,000 kilograms, he punched Qin on the back of the head. However, it was still blocked by Phoenix Force. Ah! Go away! Qin roared wildly. The out-of-control Phoenix Force violently bounced everyone away. Boom! 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 The three huge bodies punched out deep pits one after another on the ground. The Death Girl felt the terror of the Phoenix Force. The surface of her body, where it touched the Phoenix Force, began to crumble gradually. Under her powerful self-healing ability, the wound gradually healed again. But then, her body continued to collapse. So back and forth. At the moment, she finally knew why Qin Hao only left them. Others here, just touching this force will be seriously injured or even die. Qin Hao took this opportunity and went straight to Qin. He felt the pressure at the moment, more than anyone ever did. The system continues to bind Phoenix Force. But Phoenix Force doesn't recognize him at all. Crazy Phoenix Force constantly tearing his body apart. Bloodstains appeared one after another on his body surface. But right after, he used the self-healing ability of Strengthening +2 to heal his body. The super strong physical body, surpassing the annoying body density, the magical body that directly communicates with other worlds, and the common resistance Phoenix Force. The huge spiritual power from Professor X blocks Phoenix Force blacken himself. Mortal! You are not worthy of my power. The Phoenix Force sent everyone flying, and looked at Qin Hao who was running towards him. Whether you deserve it or not is not up to you. Qin Hao ignored the other party's ridicule. At least he knows one thing. The system can counter the existence of Phoenix Force. Bastard! Phoenix Force broke out again. Boom! Crack! Crack! Qin Hao's mirror dimension directly collapsed under the outbreak of Phoenix Force. Everyone was directly thrown into the real space. Here is a big mountain. The secret base prepared by Mutant. As the Phoenix Force broke the mirror dimension, the entire mountain began to gradually collapse under the Phoenix Force. Others who were able to fight Qin in the mirror dimension, at the moment were directly forced back. Leave all of you! Don't be buried by the mountain! Qin Hao saw it at the moment. This time the plan to get everyone to help attract attention failed. What would you do? The dead woman asked worriedly. Don't worry, plan A failed, I still have plan B. Hate, take the dead woman away. Hulk, take Juggernaut away. Qin Hao directly arranged for Hulk and Abomination to take action. The Hulk and the Loathing roared angrily. But the two are still doing what Qin Hao said. This is the tacit understanding after they have fought together for a long time. The two guys with not very good brains trusted Qin Hao's words very much. Everyone left, and the entire mountain range gradually turned into dust under the Phoenix Force. His power is so amazing. They're all gone, you're the only one who wants to fight against me. Qin's mouth was full of disdain. Who is he? He is from the primordial universe, born at the beginning of all things, Chaos is immortal, eternal but impermanent. When he existed, this universe did not yet exist. An insignificant human being dared to challenge him. Even absorb his power. It's just looking for death. Against you? How do you know if you don't try? After Qin Hao finished speaking, he began to use his ability with all his strength. Between the sky and the earth, a dark cloud is densely covered. This time, the scope of coverage is unmatched. Not only that, the temperature of the entire mountain range dropped sharply. Between lightning and thunder, countless thunderbolts directly attacked the doctor. Boom! Boom! One after another. But raids are pretty much useless on Phoenix Force. The temperature between heaven and earth is getting lower and lower. The hailstones were swept by the endless wind and attacked towards the Phoenix Force. Bang bang bang! Bang bang bang! These real objects were directly torn into pieces by her power before they even approached Qin. Is that all? Is that all your strength? Qin roared frantically. No, it's still early. Qin Hao released a super cold air from his hands. Absolute zero. This time, it's directly at absolute zero. The entire mountain range that was collapsing was directly frozen by Qin Hao. This time, he used all his strength, and the ice created out of thin air spread out at super fast speed. Among ice, the fiery red phoenix is still expanding. However, this time the two forces showed a rare stiffness. In ice, a fiery red passage connects Qin Zhao and Qin. Iceman's, okay, power is also at the Omega level. It's just that Iceman has never developed it himself. Moreover, his power is relatively simple. Maybe it looks a little less powerful in the battle. However, these did not exist in Qin Hao's body. He can use his body to unleash it directly in the most violent way. This instant ice is his strength. That alone, however, is far from enough. Jean began to use her powers. Smash! All ice shattered directly under her power. This is her great strength. Crush everything into particles. Moreover, as time goes by, her power will become more terrifying. The entire frozen mountain range, directly under the control of the Phoenix Force, gradually disappeared. This time, Phoenix Force still had the upper hand. It's not enough, and I know it's not enough. In fact, it never occurred to me to just beat you to kill. The meaning you represent is very special. With the current me, I really can't beat you. But, I can get you. Or rather, get an incomplete you. After Qin Hao finished speaking, a secret door appeared. He disappeared directly into this mountain range. The binding is over. No. 087 Phoenix Force integrate. The mighty Qin Hao. The mighty Qin, 6 more. The binding is over. No. Qin Hao directly disappeared in place with a secret door. Similarly, the power that had been connected to Qin Hao was also directly cut off by the gate of the secret method. This means that the Phoenix Force bound by Qin Hao has ended. Similarly, Zero completely lost this part of the Phoenix calendar. Ah! There was a scream from Qin's mouth. It was a scream of pain and anger. The power he buried in Qin's sea of consciousness even shrank back directly. This kind of damage caused the Phoenix Force in the cosmic starry sky to recede temporarily. Although Phoenix Force originally can split and break at will. But this passive split still made him very painful and angry. It's like picking your own nose for fun. But it would be very uncomfortable if someone puts his finger into his nostril. At the moment's Phoenix Force is such a feeling. Painful and disgusting. With so many hosts, why did I meet such an unreasonable person? You wanna die? Those forces that have already entered the Qin body felt Qin Hao's position. Sky. Outer space. Qin Hao opened a secret door directly to outer space. The manipulated Qin directly soared into the sky with supreme pain and anger. The dark cloud controlled by Qin Hao was directly shaken away. The boundless power even dyed the entire sky red. Qin Hao at the moment Phoenix Force shines all over his body. This power allows him to easily survive in outer space. It's just that he got too little Phoenix Force. The role that can be played is not as scary as the Qin of Awakening. The manipulative power of Phoenix Force originally. Qin Hao didn't even have the control power to reach 690 hours. But such power used on him is still extremely astonishing. Phoenix Force has one thing, in addition to the original power, when it possesses the host, it can influence, enhance, strengthen, and even evolve the host's ability without limit. This is what Qin Hao values. At the moment, all his energy has been promoted under the strengthening of Phoenix Force. He looked at his system. Divine Grade Pickup Binding System. Equipment, Item Picking and Binding, Unique. Knowledge, Experience, Skills, Constitution Class Pickup and Bind, Copy. Bound Ability. 1 Longevity, 24 years/2500, Enhanced plus 500 years. 2. Soul Astral, Astral Projection, Strengthening plus 1. 3. The Gate of the Secret Law, Strengthening plus 1. 4. Self-Healing, Strengthen plus 3. 5. Freezing, Absolute 0, Strengthening plus 1. 6. Control and Manufacture Magnetic Field, Strengthening plus 1. 7. Mind Ability, Strengthening plus 1. 8. Weather Control, Strengthening plus 1. 9. Triple the Body Density of Mortals, Strengthening plus 1. 10. Concrete Magic Weapon, Strengthening plus 1. 11. Vision and Hearing, Strengthening plus 1. 12. Green Titan Serum Energy, Gamma Ray Energy, Strengthening plus 1. 13. Mirror Dimension, Strengthening plus 1. 14. Illusion, Duplication Strengthening, Strengthening plus 1. 15. X Gene Suppression, Strengthening plus 1. 16. Phoenix Force, Defective. Bound Items. 1. Magic Jumping Boots. 2. Sling Ring. 3. Adamantium Dagger. 4. Adamantium Longsword *4. 5. Destroyer. Space Backpack, 6. At the moment Qin Hao's abilities have all been strengthened plus 1. This is the scariest place. At the moment, his strength has once again been greatly improved. Soul Astral and Spiritual Ability 2 strengthenings, let his mental strength once again be greatly improved. Even at the moment the power of the soul is approaching Ancient 1. Triple Mortal Body Density Green Titan Serum Energy S strengthening directly made his body even more terrifying. Now, his body density is even more terrifying. His physical strength at the moment has even surpassed the Green Titan. In simple comparison, at the moment his strength and physical strength can reach twice the level of Abomination. It's that scary. The real physical combat power is even more than that. And all other abilities get strengthening. This also makes all his abilities more terrifying. Mortal. Give me back my strength. In space, Qin Hao clearly saw the huge figure rising into the sky below. The fiery red energy wings came towards him with great speed. Your power? It's a pity that it has been bound by me. Both are Phoenix Force, it depends on who is more powerful. Moreover, you have become defective, your strength is no longer as terrifying as before. After Qin Hao finished speaking, he rushed towards Qin. He feels it. Qin's current Phoenix Force seems to be rootless duckweed. Just like myself. The opponent's constant source of power, at the moment, seemed to be broken. This battle must be fought. The two figures collided directly. Two huge spiritual forces are constantly clashing in the air. Phoenix forces between each other cancel each other out. Qin Hao approached directly, and tightly imprisoned Qin. X Gene Suppression. The two hugged each other, and Qin Hao directly activated the X gene suppression. The ability of the piano body dissipates directly. All that's left is Phoenix Force. Qin, wake up! Are you so willing to be controlled? Qin Hao's huge spiritual power after being strengthened resounded in Qin's sea of consciousness like thunder. In the sea of consciousness, the ferocious expression on Qin's face gradually eased. Qin, who has no supernatural powers, and has Qin Hao's spiritual power, she is not very popular with Phoenix Force. The Phoenix Force that constantly infiltrated power into his sea of consciousness. At the moment, Abij is already far away from Qin's soul. Even the Phoenix Force entangled in her soul is starting to recede. Because Qin Hao's powerful soul power is also eroding Qin's soul. Phoenix Force, on the other hand, hated the smell of Qin Hao very much. He just robbed some of his strength. There is also a power to suppress supernatural powers. This made him very unhappy. As the Phoenix Force in the soul dissipated, Qin, who was originally controlled by the Phoenix Force, finally woke up. Qin Hao's eyes changed. The powerful spiritual power once again cast a mind cage in her soul sea. It's just that this time it's not about imprisoning Qin. Instead, it is applied to the mirror universe that is as smooth as a mirror. He used his soul power to set up a wall for Qin. A wall that blocks another cosmic world. The mirror surface is contaminated with Qin Hao's soul breath, and the Phoenix Force of another universe is far away from Qin's soul sea again. This smell is really disgusting. He has a feeling. If you get too close, that guy will tear some energy from him. The sober Qin could clearly feel the situation in her body. The remaining Phoenix Force is still huge. But there is no such constant power erosion. She began to be able to control this power gradually. Qin, I will stay away from you next time. You use your own power to integrate these Phoenix Forces, you should be one. Qin Hao's voice rang in Qin's ear. I see. After receiving the answer, Qin Hao quickly let go of the piano. After the two were separated by tens of meters, Qin finally felt her supernatural power return again. This time, she directly let her own power absorb the remaining huge Phoenix Force. Her own strength continued to rise at an unprecedented speed. Those forces that she could not control originally began to be at her fingertips. The soul that has been suppressed has finally come and released at this moment. Jean Grey. It's Phoenix. Ah! With a scream, Jean vented her long-suppressed mood. Here she is, a real level 5 mutant. A level 5 mutant who can control his ability at will. Even without more Phoenix Force additions. But at the moment, she is still a man that has never been before. Her strength, thoroughly stable. Moreover, as long as she gradually manipulates these Phoenix Forces more proficiently. At that time, even if the main body of the Phoenix Force is found, she may be able to directly control him. So as to make yourself more powerful. If you are under the Phoenix Force, Blacken is Dark Phoenix. Then the one who can fully control the Phoenix Force, and completely integrate and evolve with the Phoenix Force, will be the White Phoenix. Qin has her own goal in her heart. Take full control of power. And Phoenix Force integrate. Achievement White Phoenix. Qin Hao looked at Qin Gilei, who was roaring and spreading her wings, and was a little worried about whether he was right to leave just now. Qin Mage, thank you, I finally control this power now. Qin's spiritual power conveyed his gratitude. Qin Mo breathed a sigh of relief. Fortunately, Plan B is a success. In fact, a lot of hands-on preparation. Plan A is to use a few guys with strong physical strength, such as Hulk, Abomination, Juggernaut, and other tough pianos. But Qin's power awakening is too powerful. A few people simply don't have the strength to fight against it. As a last resort, Qin Hao started Plan B. Confront the Phoenix Force with hard power and grab the opponent's attention. When you can't resist, you can directly send yourself away with the door of the secret method. In this way, the competition between his own system and Phoenix Force ended here. The force of the forced end will directly tear away a part of the Phoenix Force. This will cause harm to the opponent. Plan B worked. The violin is fully restored. In fact, Qin Hao still has Plan C, if he still can't figure it out in the end. Then Qin Hao will send him and Qin to a more distant place together. For example, Titan. Or, Vormir. In short, exiling her is one way. As for what kind of storm she will set off in the universe by then, we'll talk about that later. Go back. 088 Terrible Battle. The power to destroy the world. 7 more. Logan was going crazy. Just because he snarled at Qin Hao, he was slapped by Hulk and flew hundreds of meters away. An angry Wolverine will rush to trouble Qin Hao when her body recovers. But at this moment, a terrifying scene happened before his eyes. At the moment the mountain they were standing on collapsed crazily. A mountain collapsed crazily right in front of his eyes. It's not the scariest. The most frightening thing is that at the most central position of the collapse, a terrifying fiery figure is flying in the air. On the other side of her, a smaller phoenix is gradually taking shape. Between them, a bright light is connected together. Run! Run! Hulk jumped over violently from a distance, holding the juggernaut in his hand. As for the hatred, he held the dead woman in both hands, and ran wildly behind Hulk. No! I'm going to rescue Jean. Wolverine at the moment still thinks she can save Jean. Moreover, he thinks that he is the only one here who is sincerely saving Jean. The others were invited by that mage. There are even people from Magneto. They can't wait for something to happen to Jean. Hulk! The Hulk growled and threw the juggernaut straight at Wolverine. Hulk didn't want to reason with Wolverine. His reasons are all in hand. Boom! Juggernaut is indeed an unstoppable existence. This time it directly collided with Wolverine. The two were like two gourds, rolling directly on the ground. Hulk, run! The abomination at the moment who was behind looked back. Immediately afterwards, my heart trembled. A dark cloud covering the entire mountain range with no end in sight has formed. In the dark clouds, lightning and thunder. The dense thunder and lightning split towards the largest fiery red figure in the middle. But there are still countless thunder and lightning that slipped through the net and directly hit other places. Wolverine and Juggernaut were the two places that were attacked the most. One of the two was wearing a metal helmet, and the other was covered in metal. In such a dense place, it is simply a living target. Hulk! Hulk growled and took off Juggernaut's metal helmet with one hand. With one hand, he threw the fallen Wolverine out with all his strength. This time, the distance is no less than a kilometer. And himself, carrying the Juggernaut, kept jumping in the mountains. Fleeing from this terrible natural disaster. The Death Woman in the hands of hatred looked at the sky and the scene behind her in horror. She thought she was great. At least in mutant, use your powerful self-healing ability, and super martial arts skills. Capable of taking a decent spot in mutant. But today, everything began to exceed her imagination. How can power be so terrifying? The power of heaven and earth. Absolute power of heaven and earth. This powerful force surpassed even all the mutants she had ever seen. Although she knows that there are mutants in the legendary that can affect the world. For example, Magneto once seemed to do things that affected the world. But over the years, it seems that his power star has degraded. It never got to that level again. The one she knew, and one with a large area of power, was none other than Storm. The power of Storm can also cause powerful celestial changes. However, this shrouded land does not know how wide and wide the celestial phenomena change. It was beyond her imagination. Qin Mo Mage, have you always been this powerful? With a trembling voice, she asked the hatred who was running her wildly. Always strong, but never as full as today. Hate knowing Qin Hao's strength. or hate to know the strength of Qin Hao, who once showed strength. Including the New York War, he showed great strength at that time. However, today once again refreshed his cognition. That strange female power can actually break Qin Hao's mirror space. The strength of that dimension is clear to him in Hulk. Only once, exactly, is the test. Make Hulk constantly angry, constantly angry. After Hulk accumulated so much emotion, he almost broke the mirror space. At that time, Qin Hao took the initiative to prevent Hulk from continuing to destroy. But today this strange woman, the power radiating from her body actually directly shattered Qin Hao's mirror dimension. Leaving the mirror dimension, the entire real world begins to be broken down by the opponent's force. Fortunately, Qin Hao reminded them in time and let them leave first. Otherwise they really don't know what will happen. Mountains can crumble and shatter. No matter how strong their bodies are, it is impossible for them to persist in them for endless time. There is no choice but to escape. Several people ran wildly, and the sky changed again. The wind and snow were raging. Countless hailstones are flying across the sky. Boom! Boom! With a powerful force, the few people smashed were in a panic. Even the dead girl, at the moment, who was held in her hands, was dizzy from the hailstorm. Not only that, but she also saw a more terrifying scene. From the collapsed center, a wall of water rapidly expanded towards the outside. Run! Hurry up! Her roar seemed a little weak in the wind and snow. Still, Hulk and the Abomination heard the panic. The two looked back. All trembling. Absolute Zero. Run! It was rare to find panic in the voice of hatred. This is Absolute Zero for Qin Hao. Normally, he only uses part of it. In other words, he only needs to freeze a part of the place. But this time, it was obvious that Qin Hao was outputting continuously. This powerful blast of Absolute Zero covers too large a location. While the few people were running away in a panic, another frightening thing happened. The frozen woman, at the moment, is burning. All the ice cubes were crushed directly by the opponent. That huge amounts of ice lump, at the moment it's disintegrating from it. If they ran slowly, they might be dragged by that force. The Abomination and Hulk of at the moment. For the first time, I felt that they ran too slowly and jumped too close together. In a panic, I don't know how long it took. When the two looked back again, they finally found that there were no two fighting figures behind them. However, something like a scorching sun appeared in the sky. It exudes a strong light. Don't know how far it is from the ground. In fact, Qin Hao and Phoenix from at the moment have already moved to space. The Abomination and the Hulk finally stopped to catch their breath. Death Girl is the easiest. Hate was very obedient and kept holding her. And Juggernaut, at the moment, was thrown into a mess. His strength was weakened by film and television, and he was even turned into a mutant. In Hulk's hands, it was hard enough to be lifted and fell. As for Wolverine, he is the worst. After being caught by Hulk, he threw it outside crazily. Every time is at least a kilometer. Fortunately, he has self-healing ability and adamantium bones, which make him strong enough. Otherwise, it might have turned into powder long ago. 0. Seeking flowers. At the moment, the five of them looked back. That horrible scene made everyone tremble with fear. The original mountains have disappeared. Now here comes a huge amounts of pit. A huge circular pit. Everything inside was reduced to powder. This pit is so huge that they can't see the end at a glance. Everyone at the moment felt the aftermath. If they are rolled in, it will be considered with their powerful self-healing power and resistance attributes. Take off a layer of skin. Hulk! Hulk growled furiously. This terrifying scene made him also feel frightened. Wolverine finally recovered a little bit. He looked at everything in front of him, and then thought about the phrase "I'm going to save her," he said. It is simply a model of overreaching. Qin's strength, this time he has the deepest understanding. In the sky, there is a dazzling and huge red giant bird. Wanton exudes its light. The battle in the sky is obviously not over yet. Several people looked up at the sky, not knowing what they were thinking. Professor X and Magneto, who were sent back, came directly to the brainwave strengthening room. Professor X wants to see the situation there with his own eyes. At first, he couldn't connect to anyone over there. After waiting for a while, he finally connected to the sight of the dead woman. Through the eyes of the dead woman, Professor X saw the scene that horrified him. Forever crushed. The world changes color. Endless thunder. There was a strong wind. It was like a bucket of hail. Ice wraps the mountains. At last, everything is reduced to dust. That deep pit of unknown size marked the terrifying scene of the battle just now. And the red light with wings in the sky represents how terrifying the out-of-control Qin will be. If one day, they are not here, Qin will completely lose control. What will happen? He could hardly imagine himself. Fortunately, there was the mysterious mage this time. He fought back and forth with Qin's huge strength alone. Even though it looks like he lost in the end. But he successfully pulled Qin into outer space. If Qin continues to wreak havoc on the earth, will the beggars in this place be turned into powder by her? A terrifying thought appeared in his mind. No wonder that Eastern Mage kept asking her to try to solve it earlier. It's so scary now. If you delay, what will happen in the end? Will all mankind be destroyed together? Charles, what did you see? Magneto saw Professor X, who was a little stiff, and asked curiously and worriedly. Destruction, endless destruction. Qin's power can destroy the entire world. Professor X's trembling opening. Destroy the world. Magneto at the moment wanted to know more and more what happened over there. What would make Charles feel that it was the power to destroy the world? Back then, after being strengthened by Apocalypse, he did things that could destroy the world. Use your own power to drive the global magnetic field. That is the power to destroy. But Apocalypse died, and his ability gradually degraded. But as someone who has seen destruction, he doesn't know what else is the power of destruction. You'll know it when you look at it. P.S. 7 more than 22,000 words, not as many as yesterday, because there were manuscripts saved yesterday. And today, a VIP chapter was blocked, which affected my mood a bit. Tomorrow, we will strive to continue the 20,000 character work. 089 Shock of S.H.I.E.L.D. Why did the Mage family deal with mutant? Nick Fury mobilized global power. Satellites in the sky, cameras on the ground, all members of the Global Security Council. All the forces that can be mobilized are mobilized by them. All of this is because of what Qin Hao said to Tony. Best case scenario, nothing happens. The general situation is that all of us are in danger of life, but with our physical strength, we should be able to be called doctors. In the worst case, all the people on the earth will disappear together. He witnessed the terrifying scene in the mirror dimension during the Battle of New York. He knew exactly what the Mage clan was up against. Director, Qin Mage won't really fail this time. Agent Hill was a little nervous in the office. As a woman. Although he is an agent of S.H.I.E.L.D., he has received professional training. However, the last New York battle has broken her 3 views. Unlike Nick Fury and Phil Coulson, she has seen aliens. I have even seen the power of flying into the sky and escaping from the ground. Among all her cognitions, the biggest crisis is the power of mutant. But in the Battle of New York, she saw the kind of personal power that can directly cover a city. Under that kind of mighty power, even destruction cannot be done. She was even thinking that if a person fights 433 with Qin Mage, he will be imprisoned in the space called the mirror dimension in the end. Is it dead? No one knows. Such a person is not one. They are a Mage clan. In Eastern terms, that is a sect. A bunch of masters and disciples. Confrontation has always been some of the scariest things. This left a little psychological shadow on Hill. Now, what Qin Hao said, she always felt a little scared. What they mages have been dealing with, we don't know at all. While here and there, we also investigated some of the things mage does. But none topped the Battle of New York. So what exactly he said this time, we have no way to guess. Phil Coulson stood aside, analyzing routinely. It's a shame to meet people like Carol and Thor. His sanity is still there. Abnormal energy alert. Abnormal energy alert. Suddenly the artificial intelligence sounded a piercing alarm. Recall the alert content. Nick Fury ordered immediately. Satellite monitoring, abnormal energy gathering. A picture appeared in front of the three of them. On the screen, a mountainous area with a clear sky was suddenly covered with dark clouds. That buildup of energy far outweighs normal weather variations. Mutant storm. Hill agent saw this, and habitually thought of storm. No, her sphere of influence is not that close. Nick Fury simply compared the scales and found something that shocked him. The degree of energy gathering this time has surpassed any power mobilized by Storm in the past. Not Storm, so who else? Qin Mage. For Hill's question, Phil Coulson responded directly. Could it be that Qin Mage and the others are fighting there? Retrieve the satellite image, the image before the abnormal energy appears, and take 10 minutes as a stage. Nick Fury directly began to control. Screen call, the screen 10 minutes before the abnormal energy was sent. Another screen appeared. It was a mountain range, a continuous range of mountains. Zoom in the screen. In the picture, the mountains are gradually enlarged. The objects inside began to gradually become clear. Look here. What Phil Coulson found. Everyone's eyes moved over. There, something shining with red light appeared in the frame. Continue to zoom in on the screen. The screen zoomed in again, and the three of them trembled in friendship. Something resembling a giant bird, exuding red energy. Connected to it, there is a smaller figure of red. On the other side of the screen, two huge monsters are attacking the bird with all their might. Hulk. Abomination. Hill recognized the two monsters. In the picture, there are two smaller people also constantly attacking the bird. However, it was of no use. All their attacks were easily blocked by the bird. The screen was slightly adjusted, and the three finally found out who it was. A woman, Qin Xiaolei. Mutant who has spoken before Congress. Has been committed to mutant and mutant-seeking benefits. And the other one is Qin Mage. Qin Mage is dealing with mutant. Phil Coulson at the moment was also a little surprised. In their S.H.I.E.L.D, mutant is actually an organization that can be wooed. In other words, some of the people inside are worth wooing. In fact, many mutants are in their deep S.H.I.E.L.D profile. Just wait for a day when they go to each other to have a good talk. However, Master Qin now has to deal with mutant. There seemed to be a sense of foreboding about the incident. Because they are reminded of things from decades ago. That guy named Magneto, once led by Apocalypse, put the whole world in danger. During World War I, the magnetic field of the entire Earth was aroused. Numerous buildings were destroyed. Countless people died in that disaster. Could it be that another mutant like that is going to be released now? Jean Grey? Isn't her strength not strong? One question after another flashed in their minds. The picture continued. Hulk, Abomination and the others began to flee. It seems that Qin Mage exerted his strength, and the dark clouds in the sky gradually appeared. The satellite footage cannot penetrate the dark clouds, and it is impossible to know what is going on below. However, the continuous flashes of thunder and lightning in the dark clouds indicated that the situation inside could not be underestimated. Most importantly, even with that thick cloud, They can still see the red light inside. The red light that belongs to Jean Grey. What the hell is going on here? Do you want to contact Professor X immediately? Hill at the moment thought of Professor X. Jean Grey was his man. It is most convenient to ask him at the moment. Call Professor X and prepare to contact the country where this place is located to apply for entry procedures. Afterwards, we will go to see what happened. Nick Fury gave the order directly. Hill started contacting Professor X. And Phil Coulson started the immigration process. No one heard. Hill got a slightly nasty thing. Let's take a look first, and let all levels of institutions take strict precautions. Nick Fury gave the order again. He also felt the problem. Professor X's calls are rarely missed. Look, the flame represented by Jean Grey broke through the dark clouds, and she flew up. Phil Coulson noticed an anomaly in the footage. Here is she, coming straight to the sky? Can Jean Grey fly? The word Hill was shocked once. Yes, it seems yes, no, she surpassed the height of the satellite. She went straight into space. Flesh body flying into space. Another her. Nick Fury's psychology at the moment also became trembling. Another guy who went into space in flesh. Another Carol? Could it be that the Mage family discovered the horror of Jean, so they wanted to eliminate her in advance? But no, they don't seem to be the kind of people who kill others at will. When Thor came to Earth, even Jean Hao took the initiative to recover his divine power for him. What the hell is going on here? One question after another echoed in his mind. Director, look at the ground. The mountains are gone. The dark clouds dissipated, and satellite images were once again able to capture the ground. J.A. It's not as bad as being under a dark cloud. The picture below is terrifying. In the picture of at the moment, the familiar mountains have completely disappeared. Instead, a circle. A very big circle. That circle is a deep pit. How so? Down there just now, what happened? This pit, did Jean Mage do it? Or, did Jean Grey do it? Jean Mage, where did you go? Hill and Phil Coulson each spoke in a shocking tone. They really don't know what to say. What happened under the dark clouds is really amazing. Why did a mountain range disappear in such a short period of time? The battle between the two is already so terrifying. Jean Mage, why didn't you pull Kingxia into his mirror dimension this time? The inside won't damage the outside. Phil Coulson asked this question in confusion. They were the first-hand witnesses of the Battle of New York and knew how powerful Jean Hao was. I also know how powerful the mirror dimension is. But why didn't the battle between him and Jean Grey be pulled into the mirror dimension? Unless, he fails. Or, he couldn't pull Jean Grey into the mirror dimension. Or, Jean Grey actually looks like a dimension. No matter what it is, it means that the things behind it are extremely terrifying. Nick Fury simply came to this conclusion. Break the mirror dimension. The ability to transform into 4.2 types of people is already so terrifying. So is the plan to cure mutant requested by Mr. President correct? In a blink of an eye, Hill thought of the mutant cure plan that was the most troublesome now. Even the President bypassed Minister Mutant Hank and directly equipped the military. They've started exterminating the mutants. However, at this most critical moment, the mutant who could produce the mutant healing potion was rescued. Did mutant do this behind the scenes? Does Jean Mage's shot have something to do with this incident? Several people discovered at the moment that things about mutant became more and more terrifying. No, perhaps Mr. President's plan is wrong. Nick Fury at the moment put forward a different opinion. Incorrect. Yes, mutant has been quiet for a long time, and there have been no major mutant runaway incidents in decades. And because of the efforts of Minister Hank and Professor X, even if Magneto constantly makes troubles, it is still within the controllable range. But now Mr. President directly wants to eliminate mutant, Has he thought about the thoughts of Professor X and Minister Hank? Minister Hank resigned because of this. When the time comes, the mutant resists, and Wei comes to buffer. Could it be that all mutants are really wiped out? But, can it really be wiped out? 090 Scary Mutant. Sentinel is officially released. 2 more. Can it be eliminated? Phil Coulson is still thinking about Nick Fury's words. Even if it can be eliminated, what price will be paid? An unobtrusive Jean Gilliai, what she can cause is such a destructive force. RO. This time the battle is in New York City. So can all of New York still be there? At that time, who can guarantee the safety of everyone's life? A terrifying thought kept echoing in Phil Coulson's mind. Wait, let's see the final result. Jean Gilliai has already gone straight to space, and I don't know what will happen then. Jean Mage even disappeared directly, and we don't know what happened to him. What we can do now is to do our own thing well, and all that remains is to wait. Also, tell the Office of the President that Mutants Cure Plan recommends a hold. Nick Fury made his arrangements. Yes, Director. The Office of the President. The President, who had been waiting for news, received a special report. A report issued by the Global Security Council. The report stated that the cure plan for mutant was temporarily cancelled. Because mutant at the moment has a strong destructive power, if it is forced too hastily, it is likely to cause a large amount of turmoil. And it is equipped with a satellite surveillance photo. It compares the situation before and after the battle between Jean Gilliai and Jean Hao. It can be clearly found inside that a mountain range disappeared directly and was replaced by a deep pit 08. The file size and depth of this pit need further confirmation. But according to the approximate measurement now, its diameter is not less than 30 kilometers. 30 kilometers? Is this the combat power and destructive power of mutant? The President looked angrily at the information in his hand. Yes, we discovered this with our own satellite. Moreover, the time of this kind of destruction is very short, and the whole thing took place in no more than half an hour. In other words, within 8 hours, the other party had changed the scene into this. So their level of danger is terrifying. The security consultant offered his explanation. I know they are very powerful, so mutants' healing plan should be implemented even more. Those mutants should all disappear. Stop now, wouldn't this make the mutants even more terrifying? The President growled angrily. Mr. President, we think the Global Security Council is right about this. The initial incident in at the moment mutant could not be ruled out as a demonstration by them. If we continue, it is likely that the battlegrounds will take place in our homeland. In that way, countless human beings will die, which will be very detrimental to the re-election of the husband. So temporarily suspending this plan, we have calculated, is also acceptable. Acceptable? Then how will these mutants be dealt with when the time comes? The President apparently took the security advisor's advice. But his ambition still leads him to destroy mutant. Sir, there is someone you need to meet, he will provide the next plan. Who? Bolivar Trask. Bring me to meet you. Not long after, several people walked in pushing a wheelchair. On the wheelchair is an old dwarf 1 meter tall. I am getting old. Dying. But the other party's eyes are still very bright. It is filled with the light of wisdom. Bolivar. Mr. President asked. Yes, Mr. President. Security consultant said, can you provide the next plan for mutant? That's right, this plan has been in place for decades, starting with the 73-year-old president, and I have been empowered every term. And now, this plan ushered in the dawn. Over the years, I have been looking for ways to prolong my life, and this is the moment. Little dwarf at the moment's face was full of excitement. Father, don't get too excited, our plan has been completed. Behind him, a middle-aged man who was also not very tall comforted the emotional Bolivar. Don? Tell me about your protection. Mr. President looked serious. Get the information. A delivery document was placed in the hands of Mr. President. Immediately afterwards, a 3D projection in Bolivar's hand appeared in the office. This is what we've been working on for decades, Sentinel. For a long time, I wasn't as keen on mutant as Stryker was. Even wanted to use mutant against mutant. Such a thing is simply ridiculous. Sentinel is a robot designed to deal with mutants. It has powerful copy and counter ability. We got her mutated DNA from Mutant and Mystique. After decades of development, this principle of DNA denaturation is applied to the bionic Sentinel. This is the Sentinel of the finished board. He can Rubik's mutant ability. And it is also possible to form a countermeasure through this simulation. EER. On the screen, a robot with a pitch-black body and a height of nearly 3 meters was displayed in front of everyone. The whole body is like fish scales. It doesn't look particularly eye-catching. For example, if you encounter a mutant who uses fire, he can evolve targeted ice attributes. When encountering an ice-attributed mutant, it can also evolve a fire-attributed one. Encounter a mutant capable of self-healing, which releases toxins that inhibit self-healing. In short, most of the mutants, they are able to target. After Bolivar finished speaking, he gasped a little. But, you have to know that the leader of mutants' current resistance is Magneto. He can manipulate any metal. Isn't a robot like you going to die? The president thought of the headache-inducing Magneto. I know that Magneto has always been the object of my research. So, the whole robot is a bionic person, there is not a trace of metal in them. Magneto's power has no effect on Sentinel. Moreover, because it is only a robot, the ability to manipulate the mind of the most powerful Professor X in Mutant is also useless. After Bolivar finished speaking, he clearly saw an interested expression on the president's face. You said, together, every president will give you a mandate. So this time, what authorization do you want from me? The president asked. Mass production. Sentinel is ready for mass production, and I know the dilemma you are facing now. Originally wanted to kiss the gentle healing mutant, but they didn't seem to be grateful. Not only did they rescue the mutant who could produce potions, but they also seemed to be demonstrating in the eastern mountains. We can't tolerate this kind of thing anymore. Since they will not accept gentle treatment, let them shed every drop of blood. Bolivar's face flushed with excitement. Hearing the words, the president seemed to have found a confidant. Ha ha ha, you are right, give them gentle treatment if they don't want to, then let them bleed. Sentinel mass production plan, I agree. Submit the funds and procedures you need directly, and I will give you the greatest privilege. However, I have only one request. Sentinel, form combat power as quickly as possible. Can it be done? President at the moment has a kind of boldness to denounce Fang Qiu. Can, must be able. President Bolivar just held hands together. A super plan for mutant has officially started. Office of Professor X. Professor X and Magneto at the moment fresh out of the brainwave strengthening machine are here. Professor X transmitted what he saw directly into Magneto's mind. Magneto saw the horror. At this time, he felt Charles's panic. He himself did briefly mobilize the entire Earth's magnetic field directly with the help of Apocalypse, thus making the whole world under his control. 760 However, his power is only to manipulate the magnetic field, and for the rest, he has to rely on the natural disaster caused by the magnetic field to wipe out human beings. Otherwise, he can only manipulate metal to destroy human beings one by one. But Jean's power is really terrifying. She directly turned the entire mountain range into dust. The entire process of the battle with Jean Mage did not exceed 30 minutes. The diameter of that circular pit definitely exceeds 30 kilometers. The point is, at this time, her strength doesn't seem to have reached the limit. Her strength has not yet been focused on destruction. It was more about dealing with Jean Mage, and by the way eliminated that mountain. If she was so blunt and focused on destruction, how long would it take him to destroy a city? 10 minutes? 20 minutes? How many days does it take for her to walk around the entire Earth and destroy all the focused cities? Magneto at the moment can't imagine. But then he felt excited. Level 5 mutant. Jean is a level 5 mutant. With such a powerful force, if humans say they want to destroy mutant, let her go. He didn't believe it. There are people who have seen Jean's power and dare to always propose to eliminate mutant. Jean is simply a human-shaped nuclear bomb. This is a force capable of deterring all human beings. Magneto had a decision in his mind. You must convince the other party to let her join you. Moreover, Jean will fight Jean Mage, which obviously means that she is hostile to humans. This is definitely a point to take advantage of. In Magneto's mind, a plan gradually took shape. Mutant, after all, will become the master of this world. At this moment, a portal shining with yellow light appeared in their office. Behind the portal, two figures shining with red energy stepped into the office. The red light dissipated. The figures of Qin Gilei and Qin Hao appeared in front of everyone. The plan is successful, get the job done. 091 Cyclops and Wolverine, who gets green? Messages from Deadpool, 3 chapters. The plan is successful, let's call it a day. Qin Hao snapped his fingers excitedly. Professor X looked at Jean expectantly. A smile never appeared on Jean's face. Easy. Fortunately. Confidence. I have mastered my ability, from now on, I don't have to worry about losing control anymore. Jean spoke confidently. Take control of your own ability. Magneto seemed a little unconvinced. Faced with doubts, Jean glanced at him lightly. His whole body was directly restrained by an invisible force, and then he floated in the air. Magneto, I know you are thinking of Brother Mutant, but now is the right time for us to negotiate with humans. Therefore, all our mutants must be restrained. If anyone provokes a war at will, he will be punished. This time Jean showed a rare domineering look. Magneto felt the pressure on him. Level 5 mutant is indeed terrifying. Don't worry, I'm also for mutant. As long as humans don't trouble us, why should I fight them? Magneto is a more caring person. He knows his purpose. For things beyond the purpose, bear as much as you can. Jean let go of Magneto. Next, all mutants lurked temporarily, waiting for the final answer from humans. Professor X obviously accepted Jean's suggestion. Now that they have a piano, their strength has greatly increased. It also has the capital to continue negotiating with humans. Several people came to the hall of Xavier's school. There are now many mutants gathered here. Cyclops saw the unscathed Jean at a glance. Jean, you're all right, great. As soon as he hugged Jean, he couldn't help but nod on the spot. The corners of Qin Hao's mouth rose. It's so green. Hey, I seem to have forgotten something. Hulk. Abominable. Green Titan. Juggernaut. Death Girl. I wipe. Forgot to pick them up back. As soon as Qin Hao thought about it, a secret door was formed instantly. This is the effect of his arcane gate being strengthened. Originally had to work with sling ring and gestures. But now, it can be opened as soon as the thought changes. Hey, Hulk! Abomination! Death Girl! Qin Hao looked calm. Their hiding place is in the east, while Professor X's place is in the west. The distance between these two places is not a little far. If a few people rely on walking, they don't know when they will go. Fortunately, Qin Hao remembered. Hulk! Hulk shook his fist angrily. He is angry. Really angry. Not only did he not help in this battle, it was even frightening. He also felt frightened by the full firepower of Qin Hao and Qin. Seeing Qin Hao now, he was angry and disrespectful. What can he do? Fight and can't win. I can only sulk. Mage, you're fine. Hate the hoarse sound like thunder sounded. Looking at Qin Hao, he felt more and more the terrifying power contained in the opponent's body. At the same time, he was also fortunate that he was taken away by Qin Hao back then. Otherwise, I don't know where I will be detained by the military. How can it be like now, come out from time to time to find others to fight, or fight casually regardless of the consequences? Mage. The death girl at the moment also passed through Hulk and Abomination, and hugged Qin Hao. She took nothing. Just hold her like this. In the back, Juggernaut, who seemed to be a little inflexible in the beginning, became more and more inflexible at the moment. He walked stiffly through the portal and came to Magneto's side. I lost my helmet, build me a helmet. At the moment, he is like a kid asking for a lollipop from an adult. As soon as Wolverine came over, she saw the piano and Cyclops gnawing on each other. There was a strong sense of loss in his little heart. This love triangle is a bit sour. Qin Hao looked at Cyclops and Wolverine, and a strange idea flashed. So, which of the two of them is greener? Or, two green each other? Qin Mage, please take over all the people from Magneto. Now that we have decided to cooperate this time, let's cooperate more closely. It is always a little dangerous for those people to be placed outside, and they are placed here to avoid going out to make trouble. Qin is really full of momentum at this time. She was about to take all of Magneto's people over. You know, Magneto has now gathered at least several hundred mutants. And it's still the kind of mutant with certain combat effectiveness. Qin Hao was still thinking that those people should not leave. I touch one every day, and I can touch it for 2 years. It would be nice if they were hit together. Qin Hao's consciousness moved, and a huge door of secret magic appeared in the place where the mutants gathered by Magneto. Here is a dense forest. Mutants at the moment live in the dense forest. Although it is not very difficult, it is also a bit embarrassing. The sudden appearance of the secret door shocked everyone. It's me, brothers, and we'll be living at Charles's school for the time being. This period of time will be a time for us to negotiate with human beings. I hope everyone will exercise restraint and not make trouble. Magneto took the initiative to explain the current situation. Magneto, we believe that you can lead us to fight people before following you. You say you want to negotiate with humans now? You betrayed us, we will fight ourselves. There are extreme mutants who are clearly unconvinced. Yet, the sound of the piano sounded in everyone's mind. Who's talking in my head? Is it Professor X? The hearts of all the mutants trembled. Now, it is to inform you, not to ask, and you must do so. The sound of the piano is very domineering. Qin Hao understood that she was still influenced by Phoenix Force after all. The cautious Phoenix was gone. At the moment, the rest is a domineering Phoenix. All the mutants suddenly felt stiff and could no longer move. Not only that, all the mutants were directly controlled by Qin, and flew directly from the jungle to Xavier's school. Fear. These manipulated mutants are full of terror. It was a feeling that her life was directly in her hands. As long as the strength that binds them is a little bigger, they will be finished. Not only that, but the voice in their minds told them. If they don't listen, this spiritual force will tear their souls apart at any time. This one is our only level 5 mutant right now, everyone should feel lucky. With the 5th level mutant, our dialogue with humans has a basis. The night girl who can sense the energy intensity of mutant explained to everyone. Level 5 mutant. A mutant 1 level above Magneto. This, no wonder it's so powerful, it turns out to be the only level 5 mutant. It seems that they are not surrendering, but really want to negotiate with human beings. Okay, let's join, we'll be in Professor X's school quietly until the results come out. Yes, we join. Join if you can't beat it. This is the truth of the new world. Obviously, Mutant also realized this truth. Very well, you have made a wise choice. Wait, the human government will develop a press conference again. At this moment, Qin felt a more important information. After some operations, a TV was placed in front of all the mutants. On the TV, the spokesperson is reporting the latest policy issued by the government to the public. Mr. President, in line with the fact that mutants were once a member of human beings, at least many of their parents were members of human beings. So I have been very concerned about the idea of mutant. Also, because looking forward to being able to cure those uncontrolled mutant. That's why research into an injection to cure mutant was approved. Now, the President has a new decision. The mutant representative made a request to the President to provide mutant with a portion of the injection. Let them take care of those mutants who are willing to take care of themselves. After thinking and deliberating, the President has now agreed to this request. Part of the injection will be given to mutant representatives next. Those who do not believe in human government, or people who don't want others to know that they are mutant. You can go to the mutant representative to get an injection to heal yourself. Mutants and commons should live in peace. So, next, please mutant restrain himself. Don't do anything that hurts common people, or breaks the law. Otherwise, we will be punished in accordance with federal law. Bala bala is a whole lot. But generally speaking, the human government has made concessions. There is no mention of where the healing injections come from. There's not even a mention of whether the saved mutant will be held accountable. Instead, it will provide some finished medicines to mutant. This is obviously a concession from the human government. But they also made their own demands. Please, mutant, don't make trouble. Otherwise, act in accordance with federal law. Hearing this news, many mutants at the scene were relieved. They're just common people. They didn't even fight. It was not their will to be a mutant. Even many mutants hate their status as mutants. Now, the human government has backed down. They also have a cure injection. At that time, they can return to the life of the common people. Definitely, there are also some people who hate it in their hearts. If you make concessions, you can't fight, and if you can't fight, you can't fight for more rights and interests. They feel bad about it. But these are beyond their control. Since they issued such a notice, we should abide by the law and not break the law lightly. If someone relies on their own strength to do whatever they want, then don't blame us for not thinking about the friendship of fellow mutants. Everyone should monitor each other more, at least let this bill fall completely. Otherwise it's against all our mutant brethren. Qin announced her decision domineeringly. Professor X felt a deep sense of helplessness. Piano changed. He didn't even know him anymore. Everyone go away. Professor X directly announced the end of the meeting. Just then, Steel and a small man came back from outside. Professor X, Deadpool escaped anyway. 092 Mutant and number 039, S decision. Mutants assemble. 4 more. Professor X, Deadpool escaped anyway. Steel looked helpless. In his hand, he still held a left hand with the middle finger up. Qin Hao's eyes lit up. Deadpool. He said why he didn't see Steel, so he went to catch Deadpool. The little man next to him, could it be the Black Queen? A Black Queen who can emit shockwave all over her body? Sure enough, he hasn't finished touching the people in Xavier's school. A lot of ability is missing. Ran away. Professor X drooped his eyelids, as if he was thinking about something. It's okay, he will keep looking for you again, help him when the time comes, and then pull him in. Understood, Professor. Qin Mage, hello. Steel greeted Qin Hao very politely. Steel, hello, who is this next to you? Black Queen Brianna Hillbrand. Explain here, it is translated as Black Queen. But there are also people who call it Black Spider, Youth Power, Bullet. Here is the most popular title of Black Queen. Oh, hello, Empress He. Qin Hao ran over resolutely and enthusiastically, grabbed He Hao's hand and shook it. Ding, energy explosion detected, picked up and bound CD, 22:56:25. Sure enough, it is another force that can be bound. Qin Mo grinned. But in the eyes of the Black Queen, all this felt disgusting. What she likes is she doesn't like him. She decisively withdrew her hand from Qin Hao's. Hey! Smelly man! It's disgusting. Qin Hao saw the other person's expression, and instantly remembered this guy's hobbies. Tisk tisk, no wonder he hadn't seen the Black Queen before. This kind of hobby is probably not very popular in Xavier's school. Okay, this matter is over, and I will go back to the mountain next. By the way, next time Deadpool comes, give me a call, I'd love to see this special guy. Qin Hao said to Steel 093. I see. Steel complied with this request. All along, Qin Mage has been helping them constantly. It's not easy to find a partner who is interested, and I'm definitely going to be satisfied. In the blink of an eye, Qin Hao's body disappeared directly into the district school. Gone with him are Hulk, Abomination, and Death. Now, the dead girl is almost glued to Qin Hao. Qin Hao was not disgusted with the other party either. Her looks are still online. At least it was more to his taste. More in line, in fact, is the Han Country Doctor in Avengers, Age of Ultron, who really looks like a uniform temptation. Or Psylocke from Apocalypse. Those legs are really strong. When Qin Hao left, other people at the scene also dispersed. Professor X, Magneto, Qin, Storm, Nightwalker, Wolverine, and others came to Professor X's office. This time the human government's concession is too easy, which makes me think there is some kind of conspiracy behind it. Magneto cut to the chase. There are so many people outside, it's hard for him to say. But here, he insisted on speaking out. I know, I just read their message. Developed a robot called Sentinel to target the mutant. This machine can make corresponding changes to mutants' ability. And all of this comes from the DNA of Mystique. By the way, where is Mystique? Qin is really a practical school now. She directly read the minds of some people remotely. Knowing this news that should have been very secret. Sentinel. They have heard the name. It was decades ago. At that time, it seemed that someone claimed to have developed a robot that could detect mutant and destroy, ICF. But when it was used at that time, it was easily killed by mutant. After all these years, nothing was heard about Sentinel again. Why did it come up all of a sudden now? And it's said to be from Mystique's DNA. Is that really the case? Mystique was stabbed by a healing injection and has recovered to become a commoner. Common is not our companion, so I don't know where she went. Magneto didn't blush as he spoke. You ditched her. Qin narrowed his eyes slightly. Magneto looked disdainful. It's not a mutant anymore, why take her in? Professor X at the moment's face turned livid. You snatched Raven away from me, and now you're abandoning her like this. Eric, you still have the character of leaving useless and driving away when you are useful. Otherwise, what should I do? Without her ability, what's the use of staying? Magneto didn't look back at all. Eric. Well, Charles, the past has happened, and we're thinking about Sleepless. Since they produced Sentinel specifically for us, we should counter it. I now understand why there is a press conference today. This is drugging our mutant. If it weren't for Qin to read this information, we would be foolish to believe that human beings will live in peace with us. Once that happens, after their Sentinel takes shape, we're all done. Even if we can win, we don't know how much our compatriots will have to pay. This time, the human government directly decided to suppress our mutant in a bloody way. Charles, the thing to think about now is what to do next. What happened to Raven is over, let her go there. Magneto's heart is really cold. Everything, just for his purpose. How do you want to do it? Professor X restrained his emotions. Find more powerful mutants. When Magneto said this, he glanced at Nightcrawler. With the ability of Nightwalker, she can sense more powerful mutants. When the time comes, we will gather all these mutants. Not to mention actively attacking humans, at least let them learn to fight. When the time comes to actually meet the Sentinel, we can always fight one. The Crown Spring that Magneto said. In fact, what he wants is to use the Nightwalker to find those high-level mutants. Then use Charles's brainwave strengthening device to directly notify the other party. Let each other come here together. In this way, it is much more convenient than them looking for him one by one. In case they meet a mutant who can't come, they are trying to find a way to meet them in person. Magneto, always mutant's selfishness. I agree, mutant really can't be a mess anymore. Jean agrees directly with Magneto. Then, the plan to find the mutant officially begins. Camartage. Ancient One stood quietly in Camartage's arena. She is waiting. Zi. The special voice of the secret law door sounded. A group of people came from inside. Officially, several people from Qinghao. Go and have fun by yourself, but don't make trouble, don't hurt your brothers and sisters. He directly dismissed Hulk and Abomination and Death Girl. This time, how do you feel? Ancient One looked at Qinghao, whose clothes were almost shredded. Facing the Phoenix Force, he was able to keep himself from being naked is not bad. It feels exciting. Qinghao was a little excited. Are you excited? Sure enough, it's an idea you should have at your age. Ancient One seemed to understand Qinhao's thoughts. It's the first time I went to space and watched the universe and my own Earth in the sky. This feeling is the first time. Moreover, fighting with a person with all their strength, the whole person's spirit and thinking are prepared for this battle. This strong sense of stimulation is really special. Qinghao was still talking about his feelings excitedly. He has reason to be excited. It has always been his goal to cross the void physically. Originally, I always wanted to touch Carol. As a result, I have now achieved my dream ahead of schedule. Covered with Phoenix Force, he can also cross the void. However, this will make you look very slow. Because of the Phoenix Force he has received too little. However, now he at least has the strength to survive in many extreme conditions. And this power is enough for him to survive. Even if the Earth is destroyed, he can survive. Last time I got the serum energy of the Green Titan. Let his body have gamma ray energy. This allowed him to originally be able to withstand some cosmic rays and survive for a little while. You can have time to open the door of the secret method. Now, his survival ability is extremely revealed. It is no longer time to strive for a little bit of opening the door of the secret law. Instead, you can survive in the void. This kind of improvement is what he is most happy about. However, have you ever thought about what kind of changes will happen in the future after helping Mutant this time? Many things will change in the future. You should be very aware of the horrors of the Phoenix Force. Under the outbreak of his power, I have no way to stop it. At that time, the fate of the entire Earth will be completely bet on whether the Phoenix Force is out of control. The tone of Ancient One at the moment is a bit low. She has seen many futures with the eyes of Akmato. The future now falls into two extremes. One is destruction. One is long-term peace and stability. Qinghao at the moment seriously thought about Ancient One's words. Ancient One was right. Phoenix Force shot is almighty universe level. Indeed much more than Ancient One. He knows that his shot will change a lot of things. He was a little worried before, but after he bound more abilities, he started to be a little presumptuous. I always feel that his daughter-in-law has a hand in Taguchi's love. Typical focus on the present and not on the future. Phoenix Force, I believe the future will not get out of control. Qinghao spoke solemnly. The system has torn part of the Phoenix Force. When Qin really loses control, she will tear a part of her strength. Phoenix Force has his consciousness. A host who can't even protect himself, he will definitely choose to stay away. It's good if you have confidence. I won't care about you. Now you have enough strength to deal with things in the material world. Things in the magic world haven't happened yet, so you can hone your fighting style. After Ancient One finished speaking, the whole person disappeared immediately. Qin Hao stood where he was, thinking about what Ancient One said. She couldn't have said this for no reason. There must be a lot of changes in the future. This change made her feel that she needed to inform Qin Hao in advance. The future may have really changed. With the Phoenix Force guarding the Earth, Thanos, will you constantly send people to the Earth to test it? 093 Self-Healing Strengthening +4. What kind of tiger wolf word is this? 5 more. With the Phoenix Force guarding the Earth, Thanos, will you constantly send people to the Earth to test it? Qin Mo muttered to himself. Forget it, I don't think so much, my current strength has surpassed many people. Even if Thanos came, he would not be able to shake hands with him. The only worry is that his fleet cannon fire washes the ground. It is still necessary to master the power that can easily destroy his fleet. The practice of camouflage is boring. The day passed quickly. Qin Hao's phone rang suddenly. Qin Mage, Deadpool is here. Hearing this call, Qin Hao directly came to Xavier's school with a secret door. Deadpool is coming. Qin Hao looked at Deadpool, who was anxiously exhaling fragrance at the door. The crew is too poor to hire another X-Men? How come there's a new X-Men cop? Deadpool was visibly taken aback. Isn't there no one? Why is there a newcomer now? Deadpool, this is Qin Mage, the Mage family from the East, not our X-Men. Steel introduced Qin Hao to Deadpool. Mage? Dongfang? It's a bit out of line, why don't I know? Deadpool was constantly muttering to himself again. As a presence that breaks the fourth wall. No matter what, he never thought of the existence of a mage like Qin Hao. This is absolutely out of bounds. Deadpool, hello, the talkative prince. Qin Hao grabbed Deadpool's hand. Ding, self-healing is detected, whether to bind the self-healing ability. Bind. Ding, bind self-healing strengthening +4. An active force was constantly shuttling through his body. There was surprise on Qin Hao's face. The self-healing ability is bound from Wolverine. Gained the first strengthening from the Lady of Death. And the Green Titan got the second strengthening. Phoenix Force performed the third strengthening. This time in Deadpool, 4 strengthenings were performed. Equivalent to 5 self-healing abilities combined into one body. Similarly, there are 2 abilities that are also physical strength. 3 times the body density of mortals, strengthening +1. Green Titan Serum Energy, strengthening +1. The 3 super abilities converge, and this body becomes super powerful. With him now, it was impossible to even hurt him. A little damage has been repaired before even reacting. Prince of Mouth Cannon? I buy it, I like this name. Deadpool deserves to be a person whose thinking is different from ordinary people. He readily accepted the name. As long as you like it. What's the matter, why are you two just helping Deadpool, and the other X-Men are not dispatched? Qin Hao asked Steel and He Hao. Help Deadpool for several reasons. The first reason is that this is our assessment task, which has officially become an independent task of X-Men, and it is also an assessment task. Complete this task, and we are the real X-Men. You also know that our X-Men philosophy is based on peace. So I also want to make more mutants less extreme. And Deadpool is just a guy who is both good and evil. We need to convert him. Damn it, convert me, oh my god, what kind of bullshit is this? I'm Deadpool, how could I be converted? Deadpool couldn't believe it when he heard Steel's words. Shut up! Steel was unceremonious, and slapped Deadpool on the head. Take Deadpool's 7 meat and 8 vegetarian. The other reason is also to prevent the human government from getting hold of it. After Jimmy was rescued the day before yesterday, we were constantly eliminating the evil things that mutant did. It happened to be that Deadpool was messing around, so we wanted to stop him too. And yesterday the human government has issued a new policy: we must avoid being caught. At this time, any mutant trouble is a provocation to the new policy. Steel explained in detail why they helped Deadpool. After listening to Qin Hao, he understood that Deadpool and I would appear in this time period. The Deadpool movie universe and the X-Men movie universe are completely seamless. Okay, I get it, then you guys go ahead. After Qin Hao finished speaking, he was ready to leave. Ah? Aren't you with us? Steel was a little taken aback. Isn't this your assessment task? I can't interfere, right? Then you asked me to call you specifically. Steel is like a wronged Taihanin. Well, I'm actually just curious about Deadpool. Well, I'll send you to the scene. Qin Hao thought of moving, using the door of the secret method to move, and several people had already arrived at the place where Deadpool's daughter-in-law was kidnapped. The location where it appears is directly above the platform. Those guys who waited in ambush for the arrival of Deadpool, at the moment looked confused. Wow, Vanessa, here I come. Deadpool, who was photographed by Steel, just woke up at this time. He saw the woman locked in the airtight cabin at a glance. Ding! The sound of the sword being unsheathed sounded. Ding! A sword directly cut off the airtight cabin. Damn, what, your voice, you're Wayne. Vanessa, I'm for Wayne. Fuck. You bloody bastard, why didn't you tell me you weren't dead? I've been worrying about you for so long, and also because you've been caught here. You're an asshole. Sorry, I've lived in an exchange for years with 120 kilograms of powder, DP, buried in the ground. You know what my day has been like. Why are you wearing a mask? My face is a bit scary, and it has even been described as an avocado opening another avocado. However, if I drink some wine to numb your face, maybe I will be happy to sit on it. I buy karma, I love you to death. Deadpool and Vanessa kept chatting on their own. No scruples about the existence of other people. Hey, you are illegally threatening other people's lives, I want to arrest you. Steel is a straightforward little boy. At this time, he also announced to everyone what he was going to do. Sand-Dust Angel, this person is entrusted to you. Ajax chewed his gum and said to the dusty sky beside him. Sand Angel's body looks very majestic. She moved her body and came straight to Steel. I don't hit women, you go aside. Boom. Boom. Steel saw that the opponent was a common person and he subconsciously didn't guard against the opponent's fist. But Dust Angel's fist is not common's fist. Under this punch, Steel's whole body was directly thrown into the air. Steel's huge and majestic body smashed all the objects on the floor into a mess. 0. Ask for flowers. Sand-Dust Angel's mouth reveals a contemptuous smile. Another person with physical strength, I wonder if it is possible to bind an ability to her body. Qin Hao came here, on the contrary, he was full of interest. He stopped the Black Queen's actions. Instead, he stood in front of Dust Angel. Strong woman, I want to touch you. Hearing Qin Hao's words of tiger and wolf, Shachin Angel's face became more and more disdainful. A fist hit Qin Hao unceremoniously. Qin Hao didn't have any intention of dodging. With one hand forming a claw, he easily grasped the opponent's fist in his hand. Shachin Angel looked at Qin Hao with a confused face. Fuck, what the hell is this all about? She knows exactly how strong her strength is. However, my fist, which was able to knock back that Taihanin, couldn't hit the physical guy in front of me. Ding, Dust Angel body strengthening was detected, picked up and bound CD at 23:36:35. Tisk tisk, it really can be bound. If that's the case, Sand Dust Angel, you are now bound by me. After Qin Hao finished speaking, the mirror dimension opened, and directly grabbed Sand Angel into it. It was only the second time today to see Qin Hao's Black Queen, and her face was full of disbelief. The woman who knocked steel away with one punch. He was easily caught by this man. Not only that, the woman disappeared in the blink of an eye. Moreover, what he said were tiger and wolf words. I want to touch you. You're under my wing now. Does this man have a hobby of collecting women? No wonder he saw himself yesterday, holding his hand, touching it and smiling. Woo! He Ho let out a long breath, then shook his head. This is horrible. She subconsciously kept a certain distance away from Qin Hao. Ajax originally wanted to watch a good show in the distance. In fact, the beginning is really good. The tall and burly steel was directly sent flying with a punch. But then, a thing that seemed to be only a little muscular easily caught the Dust Angel's fist. This is a joke. Not only that, the Dust Angel disappeared before his eyes in a blink of an eye, and he didn't know where he was taken. It is simply unimaginable. But now, a group of mercenaries hurried up at the moment. There is no way, their ambush has been facing the only way. But I don't know why the other party can stagger this necessary path. It's just too bad. Put your hands up. Numerous guns aimed at several people one after another. Qin Mo didn't care. But the Black Queen doesn't have that strong body. Qin Hao subconsciously blocked the Black Queen. Get out of the way, I'm going crazy. He Hao pushed Qin Hao away with a look of disgust. Then her body starts to glow. Boom! The violent impact pushed a group of mercenaries who had just rushed up to the ground. The bloody kind. Qin Hao broke out after eating black hard. His body shook slightly. The clothes on his body were torn apart by the powerful impact force. There are still some burn marks on it. Qin Hao slightly raised his hand to take a look. Just a little smoky look on top. His physical strength has really exceeded imagination. Hey, Deadpool, are you still playing or not? Is he waiting for you over there? 094 The aftermath of Qin Hao and Qin and number 039, S battle. The Fantastic Four are born. 6 more. Hey, Deadpool, are you still playing or not? Is he waiting for you over there? Qin Hao feels that watching the excitement is not a big deal. For a person like Deadpool, don't expect him to live according to other people's ideas anyway. How he likes it. Anyway, I don't need him. Oh, I almost forgot, Vanessa, wait a minute, I'll let this guy heal this face for me. After Deadpool finished speaking, he went straight to Ajax. Fake, you want to accompany my face, heal my face quickly. Face? Ha ha ha, you don't really think that your face can be cured, do you? While fighting, Ajax talked about it. His body felt no pain. This kind of battle, he can continue to fight. What? Can't be cured? Deadpool was going crazy when he heard this. Don't you have any clues about your own situation? Your cancer cells are constantly spreading. In the last experiment, you were implanted with self-healing factors. Now, the growth of cancer cells and self-healing factors is what you look like. These two forces are now in balance in your body so you can live. I even want to take you back and study carefully why you were not killed by cancer cells. I would also like to know the 4-5-3 way, why self-healing factors and cancer cells are in such a balance. This is simply a masterpiece of God. You want to be cured. So what are you trying to get out of your body? Eliminate cancer cells? If cancer could be cured, wouldn't you go for it long ago? Remove self-healing factor? Without the self-healing factor, are you going to be directly swallowed by cancer cells? Ajax complained wildly. Qin Hao was watching the play, showing no signs of going to help. Qin Mage, aren't you going to help? Steel recovers from Sand Angel's attack. He came to Qin Hao and He Hao's side and asked. Help, help, they are in high spirits, if you go to help now, it will destroy their warm atmosphere. Hey, who are you guys? As soon as Qin Hao finished speaking, Vanessa asked the identities of everyone behind her. We are friends with Deadpool and invited him to join the X-Men. Steel answered the question honestly. Qin Hao discovered that people with strong bodies seem to have trouble with their brains. Steel is a tough guy, he answers what others ask. Hulk is a bear boy who weighs 1,000 pounds. It's normal to hate the brain, but he is a fighting madman. And Juggernaut, who should have been knocked out of his head, is a big fool. This Deadpool woman, just turn around and let Deadpool explain slowly. Also, you said let Deadpool join the X-Men, would he join? His personality is similar to the X-Agent team. X-Men? Are you all mutants? Wayne also became a mutant? Or what Deadpool? Is that a nickname? Vanessa is indeed a fierce girl who can think of sitting on Deadpool's face when she sees his face. Her questions came one after another. Not at all afraid because the other party is a mutant. There are a lot of questions, and the results of your questions are all yes. Deadpool is a nickname, Deadpool is him, and he is also a mutant now. I bought it for karma, he said that his ability is restored, and he replaced the lower part with a big part, is it true? Wow, I'm suddenly looking forward to it. Puff. Qin Hao was shocked by the words of Tiger and Wolf. This Deadpool is perverted, and his girlfriend is no exception. Ah! You are going to die for me. Deadpool has learned that his own face cannot be saved. This time, without even thinking about it, he shot Ajax in the head. Ajax has no super ability, and Qin Hao doesn't even bother to touch him. Damn it, Deadpool, you are a hero, not an indiscriminate killer. You should spare his life and give him a chance to start a new life. Steel was indeed too young. He was too influenced by Professor X. On the contrary, the Black Queen, who had been chewing gum all the time, looked familiar. This is true, people like women. Originally is not a normal person. What do you guys do next? Go back to Xavier's school, or do you want to talk more? Qin Hao touched Deadpool's self-healing, and originally had no interest in it. By accident, I got a dust angel, and I have been locked up by myself. Now he is going back to Camartage. At home, the big guy who hates is still there. There's also Banner and Death Girl. What if they find me after leaving for a long time? Fuck, I'm going to fight with my dear baby, get out of here quickly. The words of Tiger and Wolf came out of Deadpool's mouth. How can this be unbearable? Qin Mage, let's go back to Xavier's school, Deadpool. Recently, the human government and mutant have just reached an agreement. You should not come out to make troubles recently. Steel didn't forget to remind Deadpool. Fuck, my woman is back, and I don't even plan to get out of bed. What am I going to do? Is it interesting to mess with Vanessa? When Deadpool said this, Steel was in a bad mood. Not to mention him, even Sunong feels bad. This fucking Deadpool, what he said has been challenging the bottom line. Let's go, you guys go back to Xavier's school. The light of the secret door flashes, and Steel and the Black Queen will disappear immediately. Immediately afterwards, another secret door appeared. Qin Hao stepped over. Then he seemed to think of something. Deadpool, you have to watch out, what you're doing is crazy. It doesn't matter that you yourself are a regenerative healing factor. But your girlfriend is not regenerative healing factor. Be careful that someone, like this time, will not take revenge on you, but on your girlfriend. After Qin Hao finished speaking, he directly closed the door of the secret method. He felt that he could tolerate a woman like Deadpool who casually uttered wild words. It's better to live well. Besides, this woman is also a ruthless character who speaks casually. This is simply a match made in heaven. Back in Kamartaj, Qin Hao was full of words about tigers and wolves. This is all influenced by Deadpool. The rest of the time should have been relatively peaceful. But Nick Fury's phone rang. Director Nick Fury, what's up? Qin Mage, can you come to S.H.I.E.L.D? I need to confirm one thing with you. Nick Fury's voice was serious. Qin Hao came to S.H.I.E.L.D based on the principle that he has nothing to do now, so he should go and have a look. As soon as I entered here, I saw a group of people with serious faces. What's up? Dr. Reed was on a space mission and something went wrong. They were exposed to radiation in outer space. When Qin Hao heard this, he suddenly felt that things seemed a little familiar. Did the foursome have an accident in space? Or a space mission? Aren't they 3 men and 1 woman? Qin Hao asked directly. That's right, you know that too. Nick Fury had a serious expression on his face. After dating for so long, he knows that everything Qin Hao knows is nothing. Say there's a hammer in New Mexico. It turns out that Thor. Not only that, this incident also directly caused the Great War in New York. And it was the younger brother of the man who used the hammer that triggered the Great War in New York. He said that the Green Titan should not be provoked casually. As a result, the streets of New York were directly smashed to pieces by the Green Titan and the Abomination. He said there was a frozen person. Turns out Captain America was dug out of it. None of these things are simple. Last time he said the world was facing destruction. That mountain range in the east at the moment has become a deep pit. That time, mutant directly awakened an existence that could destroy the world. Jean Grey. Phoenix. Now, the other party even knows the 4 people in space. The meaning behind this incident is definitely not simple. Okay, what's going on now? Forget it, let's start from the beginning, I want to get a better understanding. Qin Hao directly wanted to know if things had changed from what he knew. Dr. Reed does some of the life sciences. He said that exposure to high-energy solar storms generated by the coronal solar wind may have triggered the evolution of early planetary life. Probably something like a genetic mutation. It seems to be a bit of denial of the normal theory of evolution. For this reason, they decided to conduct research in space, hoping to fundamentally advance the understanding of the human genome. Since then, countless diseases have been cured, life has been extended, and children have lived longer, stronger, and healthier lives. Well, that's probably what it means. Speaking of which, Nick Fury sighed. What's wrong? Their dreams are good, but they have no money, let alone direct access to space research. Fortunately, they met Victor Feng, who is also a rich man. He built 4.8 a space station in outer space. And the protective cover outside the control room of the space station is just able to resist this kind of radiation and storm. Make sure no one inside gets hurt. So, they hit it off and off into space. However, fate was a bit of a joke, and Reed's calculations were originally very successful. However, he encountered 2 accidents. The first one was that the speed of the Tianyang storm exceeded his calculations. The other is that the battle between Yu and Qin pushed their space station to the core of the solar storm. Now, all of them are irradiated. Moreover, it seems to be developing in a very bad direction. So we want to ask Yu and Qin, as people who can physically go into space. Any suggestions and thoughts on this? After Qin Hao heard this sentence, a rare look of astonishment appeared on his face. What? The battle between himself and Qin caused such sequelae? The creation of the Fantastic Four is a bit dramatic. Genetic mutations produced by exposure to solar storms. It's not even mutants' natural X gene. But their power is still very terrifying. I thought, I should go see them first. P.S. In order to properly link one movie after another, my hair is all grey. 095 Qinghao and number 039, S goal. The S.H.I.E.L.D. menace. The Fantastic Four are soft. 7 more. I thought, I should go see them first. Qinghao put forward his idea. No, you should read this report first. Nick Fury turned on the TV. On TV, what was reported was exactly what happened on a bridge. A stone man appeared on the bridge. Then, a series of car accidents ensued. In the end, a fire truck almost fell off the bridge. But then something good happened. The stone man pulled the entire fire truck back from the bridge by himself. The firefighters who were about to fall off the bridge were also pulled back directly by a rubber man. His body can be extended. At the center of the explosion, a woman created an energy field that held back the burning flames. The problem now is that the only female Sue is now physically invisible, but she cannot be controlled normally. Also, it seems that they are still constantly working on how to transform themselves back. However, we have verified some intelligence. The whole experiment seems to have many problems. Otherwise, more bad things will happen. So we would like to ask you to refer to whether the opponent's power can strive for control. In the end, like a born mutant. Nick Fury spoke his mind. Since they are now studying how to eliminate their ability, it means that they don't seem to want their ability very much. Do you think they will listen? Besides, the most important thing you should do in this matter is not to find mutant. Faced with such things, Professor X should be very convincing experience. Professor X, they've been closing their doors recently, citing a policy that was announced not so long ago. They restrain the mutants, and the human government is responsible for giving them normal treatment. And the mutant inhibitory potion that heals the body. In order not to cause some adverse effects, they decided to stay behind closed doors for the time being. We also have no choice, so we thought of you who can go out into space normally. Nick Fury has no secrets on this point. Is that so? It's the same sentence, I want to go and see them. Qinghao still insisted on his own ideas. And, not surprisingly, he can touch a good ability in a person. Human Torch. Flame ability. Originally, Pyro had the ability of fire. But Qinghao looked down on it a bit, because the fireman can't generate fire by himself, he can only control it. Qinghao has been waiting. He didn't know about the existence of the Fantastic Four. But he knew that there must be a sunspot mutant exists. When the time comes to bind the flame ability of the sunspot, consider whether the human being is energized. But unexpectedly, a battle between himself and Qin accidentally created the Fantastic Four. Then Thunderbolt's ability can also be bound by itself. As for other people, I am a little uncertain. Steel Qinghao can't be bound, maybe the Stone Man can't be bound either. The Invisible Woman's ability has energy manipulation, so I should be able to try it myself. The ability of Mr. Surprise's Rubber Man, I think it's enough. Because that ability also changes the state of the body. The main thing, though, is that now that the Fantastic Four are here, so are the villains. In particular, the Silver Surfer came to Earth with Galactus. This is simply a disaster. The point is, this is yet another crisis of annihilation. Alright, Hill Agent, take Qin Mage over there to have a look. Nick Fury directly arranged for Hill Agent to take Qinghao to Mr. Fantastic Reed's laboratory. The door of the secret method is fleeting. At the scene, Qinghao and Hill had disappeared. It's hotter than I thought. Come on, Johnny. Turn off the heat. As soon as I got to the office, I heard crazy roars inside. Mr. Fantastic and Invisible Girl are asking Human Torch to cool down. No, I can be hotter. Human Torch is having fun at this time, how can he stop heating? And, he felt it, as his temperature rose, he was able to flight. In the heating box, he heated it up crazily. Shit! Johnny, turn off the heat. Sue and Reed felt the high temperature coming from there. Mr. Fantastic, Reed pressed the freezer. Laugh. The continuous refrigerant cools the excited Johnny. But the entire heating box that detects the temperature has also been damaged. Wow, my power star is beyond imagination. But you two are such a disappointment. Johnny, who burned out the temperature detection box, is still looking down on Reed and Sue. Johnny, your temperature has reached 4000 K. If you heat up a bit, you will be close to the temperature of a supernova. Sue looked helpless. Isn't that nice? Johnny was getting more and more excited. No, that's not good. That's the temperature of the sun. Sue stressed again and again. Not only will you die, but all of us will die with you. Because you will ignite the atmosphere on Earth. All life will perish with you. Reed looked serious. He knew that the other party wouldn't care if the boy didn't say anything. Hey, it looks like you guys are in trouble. Chin Hao looked at everything in front of him with a smile on his face. At least one super ability is coming soon. Who are you? How did you come to us? When Reed saw the two people who suddenly appeared in his laboratory, he was puzzled. We are SHIELD agents. Since you lost control, the entire building has been replaced by our S.H.I.E.L.D. agents. Otherwise, with the money you owe now, let alone doing experiments here, you will be driven away directly. In addition, the person you owe money to now has been replaced by our SHIELD. That is to say, we can sue you to pay back the money at any time now. Or, put you in a cell. Hill made a big move as soon as he came. This building has become something guarded by SHIELD. And, it seems like the whole building has become a S.H.I.E.L.D. thing. But think about it too. 4 people with super abilities, how could S.H.I.E.L.D. not monitor each other? Besides, S.H.I.E.L.D. originally wanted to absorb those with powerful abilities. The Fantastic Four were originally 4 people worth wooing. I saw the battle between Chin Hao and Chin. That kind of crazy destructive power made everyone feel terrified. They urgently need more people with super abilities. The strength of the 4 people is not weak originally. Reed froze when he heard what Agent Hill said. As the saying goes, a penny beats a 7-foot man. Even if Reed is a genius scientist, it does not prevent him from studying. Mainly, his research costs too much. It is possible for any device to be in the tens of millions. The high-temperature detection equipment that was destroyed just now has disappeared again in hundreds of thousands. S.H.I.E.L.D. We haven't heard of it. Never mind, you've heard it now. We're part of the Global Security Council, which deals with global security matters. The changes of the 4 of you have caused panic and heated discussions in some parts of society. So we'll be monitoring you next. If you cause any harm, we will bring you to justice according to normal procedures. Definitely, if you guys like to cooperate, don't do anything wrong. You will also live like normal people. And, you can continue to study, we S.H.I.E.L.D. sponsor. Hill's thunder followed one another. This scared the 4 people in the laboratory enough. They are very powerful now. But they are not the most powerful. The mutant matter is still making a lot of noise. It was even heard that a mutant rushed directly to the president's office and almost killed the president. But under such circumstances, the news that the president sent out in the past few days was still a step back. We recognize the power of mutant and provide potion to mutant. 4 of them are radiated by the solar storm, and 66 is equivalent to 4 mutants. If they are disobedient, there may be no good fruit to eat in the end. Cowardly. Besides, the other party said that they would sponsor our research, which is simply a godsend. Money doesn't matter. Mainly we love research. Reed quickly made his choice. We get it, we will cooperate, but we also need to work on the equipment. You have also seen that the current cup is no longer sufficient for our research. Also, we need something more solid, otherwise we won't be able to do many tests. These words are sincere. It's as if he's known Agent Hill for a long time. Hill looked at each other for a moment. Your profile clearly doesn't match your current performance. I'll add that to your assessment of you. In addition, this time I am here mainly to introduce a consultant to you. Your research advisor, Qin Mage. Hill formally introduced Qin Hao. Qin Mage. The four looked puzzled. What is Mage? Hello, next, I will assist you with some research. Mainly to provide you with some places that cannot be damaged. In addition, to provide you with some new ideas. For example, the feeling of flying in outer space. Qin Hao said casually. Wow, you're an astronaut? So am I. Wrapped in cooling foam, Johnny asked with his head exposed. And there is also a sense of excitement among peers. No, I'm not an astronaut. There is a problem with the timing of your solar storm, and the space station seems to have been impacted. There is a reason for all of this. Qin Hao looked at Mr. Fantastic with a smile on his lips. Do you know why? Mr. Fantastic has a look of curiosity. All this, start. P.S. More than 20,000 words, tisk tisk. 096 Binding Fire. Miserable Stone Man. One more. It's all because of me. When Qin Hao opened his mouth, it was a piece of news that surprised them. What do you mean? Reed asked the question he really wanted to know. Snapped. Qin Hao didn't speak, but snapped his fingers. Immediately afterwards, a scene that surprised everyone appeared. The whole space is like some broken glass. Thunderbolt Johnny poked the glass a little bit cheaply. Ding! With a crisp sound, the glass disappeared. Let me out. Just then, a woman's voice sounded from inside. Qin Hao was taken aback. Fucking Dust Angel! I was locked in by myself and forgot. At the moment Dust Angel is like a berserk warrior. She shatters a table with one punch in mirrored space. Then he rushed towards Qin Hao violently. We'll talk later, Ben, please help me catch him. After Qin Hao finished speaking, he waved his hand. The stone man, who was eating melons, directly blocked Sand Angel. Ben was still confused about moving here. Hey, what the hell happened? Are you all his people? Then fight with you. Dust Angel is not polite at all. Boom. She hit the stone man directly with her fist. Boom. The stone man was blown away as if he had been bombarded, collapsing a wall. The power of this punch directly scared a group of people. This woman looks a little strong, but I didn't expect to be so strong. Hill stood aside, hand straight to the pistol in his pocket. She discovered that every time she entered the mirrored dimension of Qin Hao, it was a brand new experience. Forget it, I'll talk about it later. It seems that the stone man still didn't understand what I said. Qin Hao waved his hand, and Shachin Angel kept backing away. In the blink of an eye, it disappeared before everyone's eyes. What exactly is going on? A group of people looked strange. Especially the stone man, he dunked himself from the wall. As you can see, this is under my control. You are all in my space right now. She, like you, can't control her own strength, but she can fight a stone man later. Having said that, simply tell you that you may not understand, so I will demonstrate it directly. After Qin Hao finished speaking, a red light emanated from his body. Phoenix Force. His body slowly floated in mid-air. When you were experimenting in outer space that day, it happened to be the time when I was fighting another human being. The location of the battle happened to be in outer space. The strong energy impact of the two of us pushed your space station a little bit. This just puts you right into where the solar storms are most intense. It also caused your current mutation. After Qin Hao finished speaking, everyone at the scene was dumbfounded. The Fantastic Four knew that something was wrong with the calculation of the solar storm at that time. That's why their bodies changed. But they didn't know that there was another force behind this incident. Likewise, this incident gave them a deep chill. Whether this world is really under the surveillance of SHIELD. Otherwise, how could others know what happened to them? As Qin Mage said, the source of your strength actually has his reasons. So he will assist you again and help you complete your experiments. Whether you want to restore your original body, or find a way to adapt to the current strength. Hill briefly talked about what to do next. Qin Hao lowered slowly, and he put away the Phoenix Force. Hill Agent is right, it depends on how you choose. There are countless people like you in this world. Those mutants, which one doesn't have their own most special ability? For your changes, I don't think it's a big deal. Definitely, I personally recommend that you enjoy what you have now. Power is neither good nor bad, it depends on how you use it. Whoa, cool. I don't want to go back, I just want this. Johnny at the moment was the first to make the choice. For such a cool thing, he must choose to be cool. He grabbed Qin Hao, teach me to control the flame. Ding, Human Torch fire ability is detected, is it bound? Binding. Ding, the binding is successful. In Qin Hao's body, a new wave of history was added. Fire. A simple word. He had a general idea in his mind. If you touch pyro at that time, it will display fire control. And Thunderbolt here is directly fire. These are two distinct forces. Pyro can only control flames, and every time he casts, he needs to ignite the fire. And the Human Torch can directly ignite itself. That's the difference. Qin Hao at the moment felt the power in his body full of passion. It's completely different from Iceman's freeze power. Hey, cool. Qin Hao was secretly happy. It doesn't matter, you can practice at that time. As for controlling the fire, just burn it. After Qin Hao finished speaking, he snapped his fingers. At his fingertips, an open flame appeared directly in front of everyone's eyes. Johnny, who was originally excited, became more and more stunned at the moment. He thought he was cool. But this person who appeared this time. More cool. The kind that is so cool. You can also control fire? Really handsome. Look, I can too. Johnny snapped his fingers excitedly. Cluster after cluster of flames appeared on his fingers. I don't really like playing with fire because it burns clothes. But I heard that you have developed a new type of material that can be used to make clothes. Is it true? If it's true, give me some sets later. Qin Hao looked at Reed seriously. This is the subject of my research, a man-made fiber. It is like the second skin of human beings, it can be said to adapt to the different needs of the human body. In other words, it is a material made of unstable molecules that can be adjusted by itself. However, Victor has already developed this thing, and the specific materials need to be applied by Victor. I'll figure out a way to do this, and I'll send you a few sets when it's done. Reed was very generous about that. He knows that a few sets of clothes can be exchanged for a lot of goodwill. Thank you in advance, but Vic is so good, just right, I will have something to do with him later. Qin Hao had a smile on his face when he heard Victor. This guy is another supervillain. The power to control the electric current is exactly what I need. At that time, I don't know if a new ability lightning control will be added. Or directly strengthening Storm's weather control. No. Back to the original topic. I'm going back to the original look. You look the same as before, but my body has changed directly. I'm getting my wife away from me like this. I must be brought back to normal. The stone man seemed very excited. No one else's appearance has changed. He was the only one who changed, and he was dissatisfied in his heart. TCH, what a big deal, Mutant Beast Hank, who is still the director of mutant propaganda. Don't you see him leaving the country on TV from time to time? Besides, there is more than one person like you. Some people still wish they could become stronger. After Qin Hao finished speaking, his consciousness moved, and a secret door appeared beside him. Hey, hate, come here, there is a stone lump who is disobedient, beat him up. The abomination who was sitting carefully in Camartage got up when he heard this. He went straight through the arcane door. Camartage is not a place for people. This is what he concluded. Compared with Qin Hao, he has some violent tendencies. Qin Hao's master is simply a guy who doesn't like oil and salt. He tried to get angry once. Then his soul was shot out of the body. Wandered endless years in the endless multi-universe. Until now, he still has a psychological shadow. Now that Qin Hao is looking for him, he can't wait to leave quickly. Who are you going to hit? That stone man. Ha ha ha, we have an opponent. The hatred is like a lunatic, rushing directly towards the stone man. Ben looked at this ugly yellow monster with huge amounts of body in a daze. What the hell, there is no ugliest, only uglier. Boom. The stone man was still in a daze, and was directly thrown away by the hatred. Cool. The roar of hatred sounded excitedly. Stop. Do not hit. Reed and Sol looked nervous. This was a little too sudden. Moreover, why is that figure so familiar? Don't worry, Ben's strength is much stronger than you imagined. Hate it, don't beat him to death. Qin Hao said that the opponent was very strong, and at the same time told his, Zhao's, people not to beat the opponent to death. This operation is simply 6. Hey, what's going on? Banner walked through the arcane door with a curious expression on his face. Oh, I have something to deal with here. It just so happens that you are here, Reed, and I will make some clothes for Dr. Banner then. Dr. Banner? What is his ability? Reed looked at the man with a little white hair, with a puzzled look on his face. Known as a doctor, it seems that he is a scientist like himself. Exactly, you measure him, Banner, Hulk is under the waist. Hulk? Alright. Dr. Banner was a little worried, but thinking that this was Qin Hao's request, it probably wouldn't be a problem. Under the stunned gaze of the crowd, Dr. Banner directly transformed into Hulk. Nyo, it's this size, when I go back to make clothes, make him a few more stretchy pants. Hulk, a few guys over there are having a blast, so you can join in the fun too. After Qin Hao finished speaking, Hulk ran to the side excitedly. There, the abomination was fighting with the golem. It has to be said that fighting is the best way to release. The fighting consciousness and fighting ability of the stone man are really too low. Those who were directly beaten by the abomination had almost no power to fight back. But this kind of battle has inspired his blood. This feeling of punching to the flesh. Cool. Fuck, why are there so many monsters here? 097 Fire, Strengthening +1, the power of fire that even the Thunderbolt can and number 039, T-Bear. Fuck, why are there so many monsters here? At this moment, Sand Angel appeared in front of his eyes. She originally wanted to trouble Qin Hao. But just running here, I saw this horrible scene. What kind of monsters are here? Her mind was bewildered. A stone man, she had seen it just now. It's just that I was angry at that time and didn't pay much attention. I thought it was a sculpture. But now, another ugly yellow monster with a height of more than 2 meters and 3 appeared. Like the abomination in the game. Not only that, but at the moment, there was a big green man rushing over in the distance. Fuck, she's the only one who looks normal. What's the matter? Dust Angel is a little confused, and the 3 views of Dr. Reed and Sue are a little too cute. What's all this about? Why did these special people appear one after another? Moreover, these guys seem to listen to this Qin mage. Could it be that these also appeared because of you? A terrifying guess flashed in Reed's mind. It seems that you concentrate on research and don't pay much attention to current affairs. There were two big guys fighting in New York, but it caught the news. Don't you even pay attention? Qin Hao looked helpless. You mean, they're those two monsters who fought in New York? I'm just saying they look familiar. At that time, the war was at night, and the news reports did not dare to get close, so they took some blurry videos. Haven't connected them for a while. These things are so cool. Before Reed spoke, Johnny looked excited. He said, "This thing is cool." "Johnny, don't talk nonsense, Mr. Qin, Ms. Hill, what happened today is really beyond our imagination. We have agreed to your 213 requests." At this moment, Mr. Fantastic is like a child who has just been exposed to the adult world. Curious about everything. Moreover, a new way of mothering appeared in his mind. Doctors nowadays, do they have to have some special skills? That banner looks thin and weak. But a transformation really destroys the three views. Maybe I also want to be a special doctor? Isn't Professor X also a special professor? Sure enough, geniuses are special. At the moment, he actually wants to be like Johnny, so cool to say. Very well, you have made a wise choice. Next, you can conduct your research as you like. You and Sue's power can be experimented casually. Since Johnny doesn't want to become a commoner, then I will take you to use the power of flame to your heart's content. In this space, you don't have to worry about burning anything. Hill Agent, please help me prepare a few sets of clothes. Use the power of fire. This is a bit expensive clothes. Qin Hao did not regard himself as an outsider. Call the Hill Agent directly. No problem, leave it to me. Hill was straightforward, and it wasn't a big deal. You guys go out, Johnny and I are having fun in this space. Qin Hao's consciousness moved, and the door of the secret method directly sent Hill, Reed, and Sue out. Suddenly, the three returned to the real world directly. Before their eyes, they returned to normal together. The temperature box that Johnny had just ignited was steaming, making the temperature of the whole room a little high. But both Qin Hao and Johnny were gone. The battle roars of those monsters disappeared. Reed and Suze at the moment feels like it was all a dream. But the disappearing Johnny and Ben tell them that this is not a dream. You can research as you like, and if you need to tell me, I will arrange someone to connect with you later. After Hill finished speaking, he turned and left coolly. Qin Mage, send me out, I have to go downstairs slowly. Don't you know why you should send me directly back to S.H.I.E.L.D? Doesn't this mage understand human feelings at all? Or am I unattractive? Forget it, anyway, I have to change clothes and pants for him, so let's take a stroll nearby. Becoming a S.H.I.E.L.D agent, it seems like I haven't visited for a long time. Hill kept muttering. A little girl's sadness. But in the mirror image dimension, Qin Hao's playful heart was aroused this time. His body burned directly, surpassing the temperature of a supernova in an instant. And, his temperature was rising constantly. Johnny, burn it. When Johnny heard this, he burned with excitement. This kind of flame is a normal flame that needs a combustor, that is, oxygen to burn. This is your shortcoming, without oxygen, you will not be able to burn. Therefore, the scope of your strength can only be planets with oxygen. Fortunately, such planets are not rare. As soon as Qin Hao opened his mouth, he pointed out Johnny's weakness. Wow, it's pretty cool that I can cast it on Earth. Johnny doesn't have much ambition. Originally he was a common man and now with ultra ability, what else is there to be dissatisfied with? Since you think it's cool, then burn it to your heart's content. Here, you can burn nothing. While Qin Hao was teaching Johnny, he felt the situation in his body to his heart's content. In fact, he just felt the fire ability for the first time. But, who told him to play the role of a senior fire attribute owner. This kind of coercion, Johnny still accepts it wholeheartedly, without any doubts. The feeling of pretending is really cool. But, aren't things here breaking down? Johnny found out, as the flames gradually rose. Those things around were melted directly. Hee, naive. Snapped. Qin Hao snapped his fingers, and the whole space rolled constantly. Where are the signs of being melted? The four-person group that was scuffling in the distance, at the moment also found a space that was constantly shifting. Abomination and Hulk are fine. They are no strangers to this place. The Stone Man and the Dust Angel at the moment are the ones with a confused look. Ice, how can this world be flipped around like a game world? What exactly is going on? The Stone Man asked in confusion. I didn't feel it when I started fighting. Now watching the world keep turning upside down, his three views are fragmented. Well, it's like this. The hoarse voice of hatred constantly explained everything here. He decided to pull the Stone Man into the space. Otherwise, there are too few people who can fight. This woman is also good, but this woman's fighting power is still a notch lower than theirs. But at least it can hit 2 punches. So his explanation is very patient and detailed. Hulk. Fire. Hulk growled and looked into the distance this time. There, 2 flames danced continuously in the air. You want to fly, fly to your heart's content. In fact, you have been hit by a solar storm, and your strength limit is very high. Especially you, Johnny, you're as hot as a fixed star. However, your body cannot sustain this temperature for long. Because your body is still a common body after all. You must pay attention to this point. When using the fire ability in the future, you must pay attention to your physical strength. Once you exceed the limit, your body will hurt. Qin Hao's voice constantly echoed throughout the space. Everyone heard what Qin Hao said. So what should I do? Exercise. Johnny kept chasing Qin Hao, and kept asking questions. It's not very useful, because your body is like this. Exercise can improve a little bit, but the effect is not very satisfactory. It's better than nothing. What Qin Hao said was the truth. At least that's the case with Johnny in the movie world. When they worked together to defeat Dr. Doom, they had already expended a lot of energy. Especially Sue, she even had a nosebleed. What about you? How far can your strength reach? Johnny felt like breaking the casserole and asking the bottom line. Mortals dare to compare with Qin Mage. Hulk. Stupid. No, Hulk is not stupid, Fire Boy is stupid. The sarcasm was clearly felt in the words of both Abomination and Hulk. Ben's mind is very flexible, and he probably understood Qin Hao's strength. Only a boy like Johnny would have such a question. A flame flying in the sky stopped the figure directly. He looked at Johnny strangely. My strength, I myself do not know. What Qin Mo said was true. After all, he only got this ability. The main thing is, he has Phoenix Force. All power will be strengthened by Phoenix Force +1. Johnny is just Common's Fire. And Qin Hao is Fire, Enhancement +1. Let it burn. Qin Hao stood quietly in the void. Combustion. 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 Crazy burning. Endless flames radiated from Qin Hao's body in the entire space. Everyone's eyes began to wander. But the airflow formed after the temperature is too high. Johnny, who was still by his side, even had to step back at the moment. He is fire. He couldn't bear the temperature of Qin Hao with the same fire attribute. Under the scorching of Qin Hao, the temperature of the whole space became higher and higher. Dust Angel was the first to fail. She had to frantically flee towards a place farther away from Qin Hao. The others could bear it for the time being, but they also chose to leave. The Abomination grabbed the Dust Angel, and ran continuously in the mirror space like a cannonball. Fack. Johnny, I'm going to beat you when I get out. What question are you asking? The stone man Ben at the moment is also running crazily. The two big guys who didn't recognize their own mother just now ran away. If he doesn't run, isn't he an ironhead? Qin Mage, enough is enough. Johnny was far away from Qin Hao, at the moment he finally spoke. He finally saw how terrifying this oriental man called Mage was. Call. Qin Hao let out a breath. His face seemed calm, but in his heart he was extremely pleasantly surprised. Phoenix Force. Simply divine. 098 The human torch shivering in the cold. Dust Angel surrenders. 3 more. Phoenix Force. It's simply a miracle. This is Qin Hao's deepest understanding. All power will be directly strengthened under the Phoenix Force. This strengthening of horror, beyond cognition. The temperature of his body gradually dropped, and Qin Mo maintained the lowest temperature barely enough for flight. No way, there is nothing left in this body. He didn't want to perform streaking in front of Johnny. Johnny at the moment can finally get close to Qin Hao. At the moment, he looked at Qin Hao as if he was looking at a god. This oriental mage is simply too powerful. The abominations who were constantly fleeing, at the moment, finally stopped. They are already too far away from Qin Hao at the moment. But they can still feel the scorching heat in the air. Mage. Ice. The loathing roared, his voice echoing in the air. Ice. This is to cool down. Qin Hao's eyes flickered. With my current state, is it okay to use freezing ability? Do whatever comes to mind. He stretched out his hands and was about to cast freeze. Immediately afterwards, he saw a miraculous scene. When his consciousness just moved, the flames covering his hands receded directly. After that, a layer of hoarfrost covered the hands. Hey! The air of ice is like a white dragon, spreading outward rapidly. Damn it, it's okay. Qin Hao was shocked. His whole body was burning with flames, only his hands were emitting cold air. Wow, cool. You can freeze ability. That's so cool. I don't know, what else can you not do? Johnny looked at Qin Hao in front of him, he was looking at the gods. What else can this oriental person not know? He even reached out his hand curiously to touch the chill. Laugh. Laugh. The flame on Johnny's body was extinguished at this absolute zero temperature. And, his body began to be covered with a layer of ice. Fack. In the blink of an eye, Johnny moved away from Qin Hao. And his body began to tremble. Human torch, shivering from the cold. He trembled, trying to stimulate his abilities. Boom. Finally, his body burned again. He, how can your ice freeze my fire so easily? Now Johnny just wants to stay away from Qin Hao. When the opponent uses fire, it burns so much that he dare not get close. And when the other party used ice, it directly extinguished his fire. This mysterious oriental mage is simply his nemesis. There are still many who won't, but there will be fewer and fewer in the future. As for why you can freeze your flames, because I am at absolute zero. You are free to fly, I will cool down this space. After Qin Hao finished speaking, his whole body was burning with flames in the sky. His hands were constantly emitting cold air. Fack. Can you still do this? The stone man was surprised. This operation of burning while cooling down is really beyond his imagination. The signal tower has not seen the scene where Qin Hao directly extinguished Johnny just now. Otherwise, his 3 views would be shattered to nothing. Fack. This is the first time I have seen such a scene. Hate looked at the scene in the sky, and he also looked confused. In the past, Qin Hao always flew at will, and then used various powerful forces. Only this time, the opponent actually used 2 completely different powers. This is simply violating the rules and destroying the 3 views. But his acceptance ability is very strong. The other party can even have so many strange abilities. Now there is no fuss about one more show operation. After flying half a circle, Qin Hao felt bored. This release of freezing power is really too slow. Because it is impossible for him to directly freeze this space to absolute zero. So always use it sparingly. It is not efficient to use it like this. Forget it, just use the weather control. Everyone saw a flame standing quietly and burning in the void. The two streams of white gas disappeared. But then, dark clouds gathered in the sky and the temperature dropped sharply. Immediately afterwards, snowflakes began to fall. The temperature of the whole space is a bit bone-chilling. Even the flame on Johnny's body became unstable in the wind and snow. This, is that mage did it too. The stone man looked at the snowflakes flying in the sky with surprise. His inner shock is only known to him. The air, which was still scorching hot just now, has become icy cold at the moment. The transformation in the middle is really amazing. Moreover, the operation of spraying cold air on the hands that the other party started to use seems to be traceable. But now, what happened to this sudden change? Don't make a fuss, the operation of spraying cold air on the hand just now is the most powerful. Now this power is average. Hate knows best. Both he and the Hulk knew. Qin Hao restrained his strength at first. Otherwise, based on the scene where Qin Hao fought with Qin some time ago, this place will be covered by ice in a blink of an eye. Still absolute zero ice. This weather control looks amazing, but its power is limited. The stone man has received decades of education, and at the moment the three views of the whole person are directly shattered. As for Sand-Dust Angel, since she was carried by the abomination and fled here, she hasn't said a word. She knew that her strength here was like a fly shaking a tree. The tiny ones can be ignored. She suddenly felt that her body was a little cold. I couldn't help but shuddered. The temperature here makes her feel cold. Qin Hao also knew the situation here. The dark clouds in the sky dissipated, and the temperature in the space gradually warmed up. Johnny, Ben, do you stay in, or go out? I suggest you stay here, anyway, going out now has no results. I stay inside, I want to fly to my heart's content. Johnny made his choice straight away. Fly. He wants to fly. It's just perfect here. I'll stay too. I'll think about whether to go out after Reed makes a machine that can restore me. The stone man was a little depressed. There's no way, just his appearance has changed, can he not be depressed? Hulk. Smash. Rock. Boom. Hulk felt the lowness of the stone man. Hit the stone man directly with a punch. What a sad fight. Wake up high. Hey, let's fight. Hate at the moment is also excited. Be suffocated in camouflage. Sand Angel, Ajax is dead, do you want to continue like this? With your strength, you can't even seek revenge from any of us. Moreover, your relationship with Ajax is average, so there is no need to worry about this all the time. Besides, you know what you did to Deadpool Wade. It is simply utterly miserable, and here is a chance for you to be reborn, it depends on whether you can grasp it yourself. Qin Hao stood in front of Sand-Dust Angel covered in flames. 0, seeking flowers. Dust Angel fell silent. She knew that Qin Hao was right. No one cared about them before, so they were rampant. But with that bill recently announced, Mutant is constantly saving himself. If she was going out to make trouble, she would probably be killed immediately. She is strong, but the X-Men can send two random people, Steel and Black Queen, to fight her well. Not to mention the mage in front of him. And these two big guys beside him. She didn't even stand a chance. I see. I will accept your arrangement. Sand-Dust Angel directly bowed his head to Qin Hao. Qin Hao didn't expect that Shachin Angel would be so straightforward. He was still thinking, how many times to persuade him if there is nothing wrong. As a result, it was done once. As for whether the other party is sincere, his mental power clearly feels the other party's sincere surrender. This was a pleasant surprise. Just like Abomination, Abomination was very resistant at first, and then he was hammered by himself and the Green Titan. Then he surrendered. This is simply a hammered emotion. The Dust Angel was also hammered first, and now he directly chose to surrender. Very well, then you should stay here first, and I will find you a place to live later. 0.0. Okay, I see. Dust Angel stood aside bored. Qin Hao looked at her and suddenly had an idea. Start an organization of your own. Although he belongs to the mage family. But influence yourself to set up an organization. Now, his strength is already very large. Moreover, I seem to have philately, and when I meet some interested people, it's like collecting them. Destroyer is. So does hatred. Now there is another Dust Angel. Then, there will definitely be more and more people and objects collected in the end. Such a situation means that I have to bear more and more responsibilities in the future. Can't rely on Camartage for everything. Therefore, a self-sufficient organization must be established. Collecting money for organizations like S.H.I.E.L.D? Wouldn't that be a mercenary? Or find rich people to buy shares? Provide them with protection? Sure enough, I watched too many TV dramas, so this is completely a way to collect protection fees. The mage family has guarded the world for so long without charging, and it is a shame to charge for it themselves. This matter seems a bit troublesome. My head hurts. I just don't seem to be a money-making material. Forget it, if someone has this ability, let them worry about it. Qin Hao glanced at the scene in the mirror dimension, then turned around and was about to leave. He saw Agent Hill come back with the clothes in his arms. The magic door flashed, and Qin Hao came to the real world. Reed and Sue, who were cleaning up the scene, and Hill, who had just returned, saw a flame appear. Johnny? Sue asked suspiciously. Johnny had a great time playing, and he doesn't plan to come out yet. Qin Hao's voice sounded. Immediately afterwards, the flames on his body gradually dissipated. A figure with a strong body and strong capital appeared directly. Qin Hao, who has been continuously strengthened, has a proud capital. Free-spirited in the air. I buy karma, I will never forget this scene. Reed patted himself on the head a little autistically. That scene was exactly the same as when Thor saw the Green Titan coming out of the pool naked. As for Hill and Sue, looking at Qin Hao, their eyes almost went straight. This. So strong. 099 Victor. I want your share. 4 more. Qin Hao changed his clothes in Reed's laboratory. Hill and Sue's eyes never left Qin Hao. The faces of the two were flushed. They will never forget that scene. By the way, you said that the materials of your clothes are mainly made by Dr. Victor. Who will take me to talk to him? Qin Hao was finally about to get down to business now. I'm his assistant, I'll take you there. Sue's face was flushed, but his face was active. I need to talk to Dr. Victor about something. Hill at the moment also spoke. As someone from S.H.I.E.L.D, since the Fantastic Four are under surveillance, Dr. Victor was naturally not immune. However, it seems that Victor has not changed like these 4 people. In other words, S.H.I.E.L.D hasn't noticed his change yet. But the other party is not having a good time now. Because of the failure of that space experiment. His company's funds have been evacuated, and it is not so easy to do research now. Okay, with the 2 beauties accompanying me, it's fine to go and talk to Victor together. After Qin Hao finished speaking, a secret door appeared. Opposite the gate of the secret method is Victor's experimental building. Hey, Sue, I'll wait for you to come back and experiment together. Reed had a strange expression on his face. 9-10, Reed, you can experiment on your own first, and just let me know the results. Su at the moment obviously didn't care about Reed. Qin Hao slowly seemed to come to his senses. This invisible female Su seems to be a bit of a face controller. However, Mr. Fantastic's body stretches and shrinks casually, isn't it good? Tisk tisk, sure enough, imagination doesn't work. Didn't she expect the magic of Mr. Fantastic? Forget it, leave her alone. The figures of the three disappeared directly into Reed's laboratory, leaving the lonely Reed alone in the empty room. Come to Victor's experimental building. Victor at the moment, is looking in the mirror. In the first scar that appeared on his face, there seemed to be a metallic luster. He looked at the wound in the mirror with a serious face, trying to confirm what happened. Hey Victor! Hill spoke directly. Ah! Victor was terrified by this. Who are you? How did you come here? Su, did you bring them here? Victor looked puzzled. And Su, at the moment still looked confused. What happened? Wasn't it just at Reed's lab? Why did you come to Victor's house now? Victor lives in his lab building. But, why did I come here? It looks like a yellow circle? It's all Reed's fault, I didn't see clearly. However, this mysterious oriental mage is clearly seen by me. Tisk tisk, good daughter-in-law, try it. Su was still thinking wildly, and didn't hear Victor's words at all. I'm Hill from SHIELD. Something happened to you this time in space. Reed, Su, Ben, and Johnny have all changed, and now we want to find out if the same has happened to you. She still doesn't know what happened to Victor. So speak according to the standard procedure of SHIELD. S.H.I.E.L.D. Victor became more and more puzzled. You don't need to know these things for the time being, Victor. I came to you for two things. The first thing is the material you developed for making space suits, and I want to use it to make a few clothes. The other one is to solve your current doubts. You know my doubts. Victor obviously didn't believe Qin Hao's words. Qin Hao snapped his fingers, and a bolt of lightning went straight to Victor. This bolt of lightning directly sank into Victor's body. But Victor didn't feel the slightest bit uncomfortable. Not only that, but on his own hand, at the moment also began to shine with the light of lightning. You and I. Victor looked at everything in front of him, and he was stunned. What's the situation? I really felt a difference during this time. Closer to electrical appliances, the entire electric current seems to become unstable. Even close to the metal, there will be a natural discharge phenomenon. But, how could this mysterious Oriental man be able to discharge electricity? Moreover, he seems to be extraordinarily flexible when he manipulates it. I am very clear about your situation. Next, your body will gradually change, and finally it will become an organic metal. Your body will have the ability to store and release electric current. This change is the same as that of Reed and Su. But one thing, because you are not exposed to strong solar storm radiation, your power will become unstable. There is even a danger of losing control. Qin Hao talked freely here. These news made Hill stunned. How does this mysterious Oriental mage know everything? Victor has not experienced any abnormalities in their S.H.I.E.L.D.S monitoring. At least no abnormalities have been monitored. But now, the other party directly pointed out Victor's matter. Looking at the shining light in Victor's hand, he was looking at the surprised expression on the other side. Hill knew that what Qin Hao said was right. Su at the moment finally came to his senses. She looked at Victor in astonishment. Victor, didn't you say you were fine? Are you lying to us? She was really shocked. She believed in each other. Because the other party has a good reason. He closed the shield in the space capsule, so no hands hit the radiation wouldn't mutate. But now it seems that the other party has not only mutated. Not even as good as those who were directly irradiated. At least they don't have to worry about unstable power. So, Victor at the moment really can't seem to find a reason. He glanced at Sue, then at Hill. Finally, he focused his attention on Qin Hao. You know? You can fix it. He is a self-interested person. If the person in front of him can accept it, he doesn't mind paying a price. I can give you a chance to be swept away by the solar storm again. That way, at least you don't have to worry about power instability. As for your power, don't you think it's actually pretty cool? Definitely, it doesn't matter if you want to remove your power, Reed is working on a machine anyway. When his research is over, maybe you will be able to recover. Qin Hao looked indifferent. What price do I have to pay? Victor is plain and simple. I want some shares in your company, because I have some people to support. Seeing Victor, Qin Hao suddenly turned off to this point. Other banks have withdrawn their capital, isn't this the time to ask the other party for money? My company shares? Don't you know that my company is going to go bankrupt? You have just been withdrawn from the capital now. As long as new funds are injected in the future, the company's research can still be brought back to life. Moreover, you have invested so much money, you don't want to just throw it away. Can you help me get money? Victor had a look of surprise on his face. As long as there is funds, his company can survive. Moreover, their company's research will definitely explode. Try it, anyway, it doesn't cost money to try, just wait. Qin Hao also had the mentality of trying. If you can get the shares of Victor Company, at least you can support many people with dividends. Victor is a true genius. When he becomes Dr. Doom, he will become even stronger. A genius who turned his country into a superpower. It even ends up attacking it to annex other countries. In Fantastic Four 1, the identity of Dr. Victor was also retained. This genius who can't stay in New York and can go back to China to continue living and come out again. However, at the moment, he was obviously not that rich. Otherwise, you won't feel uncomfortable because of a little bank capital withdrawal. When he gets rich, he'll be richer than Iron Man. Therefore, if Qin Hao binds Victor to his side, isn't this a natural money-making machine? So this is the reason why he suddenly wanted the shares of Victor Company after he came here. A portal suddenly appeared beside Qin Hao. Tony, do you accept any business? Tony from at the moment is transforming the mech. Qin Mage, what business? Are you still in business? You terrified me last time, and I even flew to the pit you made on purpose. Even by karma, it really surprised me. 36.987 kilometers in diameter. I measured it on purpose. That pit is so big. Hill Agent, hello. How are you, beautiful lady? Tony looked excited when he saw Qin Hao. Regarding the remains created by Qin Hao and Qin at the beginning, he personally went to see it. The power to turn everything into powder was beyond his imagination. Tony Stark? Victor recognized 4.9 Tony. He didn't expect that this Oriental mage actually knew Tony Stark. If Tony has settled in the capital, his company can indeed develop. You are. It's Victor, the boss of this department. Victor wanted to shake Tony's hand, but Tony refused. Business? Do it with him. Tony asked Qin Hao in a low voice. Well, this guy is good at making money, but now he is facing some difficulties. If you can take the opportunity to knock him, you will find out how correct this decision is in the future. Qin Hao's words rang directly in Tony's mind. No, just because Qin Mage is optimistic about the other party, I will definitely vote. Tony now has full trust in Qin Hao. If Qin Hao wants to do business, he will definitely follow up. Even if you lose some money, it doesn't matter. It's not a matter of sprinkled water for him, Tony, to make money. Victor, how much do you want me to vote for? Tony spoke directly. He didn't even ask what the other party did. Tony, this matter can be discussed slowly. After all, Qin Mage's request is for a small share of Victor's company. I think you should help Qin Mage get the numbers that satisfy him. Hill suddenly spoke at this moment. Qin Mage wants shares. 100 Dr. Doom working for himself. Flesh into space. 5 more. Qin Mage wants shares. Tony seems to have discovered a new continent. He has always thought that Qin Hao is a person who has no material desires. After all, he has seen many times that the place where the other party lives is relatively simple. Okay, kinda run down place. He thought that the other party didn't have much demand for material things. He even felt that the other party was a huge organization and they should be very rich. It was the first time I heard such a thing today. That's right, there are a lot of things that have been contained recently. I hate that they have to rely on me to support them, and I estimate that they will support more things in the future. I can't rely on the master, and the pressure is a bit high, so I can only make some money by myself. Qin Hao didn't feel any embarrassment. His power has surpassed the general secular society. In fact, if he really wants to make money regardless of the cost, he can do too much. The vaults of various banks are the same as his home. You can get it by opening a secret door. So he doesn't really have much desire for money. It is purely to support the people he has taken in, so there must be some legitimate source of funds. I said it earlier, I will directly give you some dry stocks of our Stark industry. If you are short of money, just look for me. Tony was a little excited. Lack of money, find him. Does he waste less money on weekdays? It's a good deal to tie Qin Mage to his company for shares. Giving dry shares? Forget it, you won't get paid for nothing. I don't want your things for nothing. How could it be for nothing? You saved my life. I didn't know how to repay you 08 before, but now I have a chance. Okay, Tony, you don't understand what I'm pursuing now. Now you think, your interest in studying mechs or your interest in making money, which one is better? I think that if you have money, you can invest more in research and development, hire more talents, and manufacture more advanced electromechanical devices. So, I'm actually interested in both. Tony is serious. Victor at the moment, who has not yet blackened, also nodded frequently. Qin Hao was stunned. That being said, there's nothing wrong with it. Qin Hao realized that he couldn't get enough of the other party. Their brain circuit is indeed a brain circuit that can make money. Forget it, I don't really care about making money. Victor has a space station in the sky. I think you can discuss and cooperate. Moreover, don't you have some ideas, such as launching your mech into the sky as a satellite? When necessary, it falls directly from the sky, and you can refer to their technology. Qin Hao could only change the subject. You know even this? Tony was stunned. This was just his idea. Unexpectedly Qin Hao already knew about it. Could it be that he really sent text messages to the future? Victor's eyes changed when he heard Qin Hao's words. There are some things that are fundamental to him, but if his company goes under, those things are gone. Forget it, let's just leave it at that. Hill, on the other hand, had more thoughts on his mind. Tony had enough money to do something like this. And do they, S.H.I.E.L.D, also have to make such preparations? The Xinhao space plan is about to succeed, and by then it will be the most powerful defense network on Earth. The magic of our mage family is far beyond your imagination, and I know very little about it. If my master is here, I can even tell you what you will eat tomorrow night. Qin Hao was too bragging. Definitely, this is really not bragging. With the addition of Time Gem, who knows how many futures Ancient One has seen? Doctor Strange can see more than 10 million futures at that moment. Ancient One has guarded the Time Gem for hundreds of years, so it is probably tiresome to watch the future. Tony looked at Qin Hao and felt a little nervous. Not only him, but Hill was even more terrified. He wouldn't know about SHIELD. As for Sue, at the moment she is just a background board, the kind who is responsible for putting stars in her eyes. Today's mage is really well capitalized, not only physically, but also has a strong network of relationships. Tony was casual and hard-nosed in front of him. Who is Tony? He is the head of Stark. When Sue chose Victor at the beginning, it might have meant learning from Zygiali. After all, the current Pepper is Stark's temporary head. Shall we continue to talk about cooperation? Victor quickly changed the subject again. What if Tony doesn't invest later? You arrange your subordinates to do this first, Victor. I came to you today mainly to talk about your super ability problem. Your current situation is not optimistic. If you can't solve it, there will be no place to use the money you earned later. When Victor heard this, his whole body was instantly invigorated. He never knew what was going on now. Now someone can elaborate, that is the best. You say you can re-exposure me to the radiation of the solar storm? How can I do that? A matter of life and death, we have to be cautious. Hey? Hey? Solar radiation? You're all playing this big now? Not enough gamma rays? Tony was actually a little shocked. Green Titan is already amazing. Why is there a more reckless one here? Forget it, if Qin Mage said this, it must be reasonable. Victor, you are lucky to be valued by Qin Mage. Tony simply threw away his reason. Anyway, magic has made him lose his mind. The three views of the past few decades have also been fragmented. The shock in Victor's heart increased again. What's this? Why did Tony believe this mage so much? Who is Tony? The most rebellious genius and playboy. At the beginning, the existence of the Stark Weapon Research and Development Department was casually closed. The guy who doesn't look back when the stock price goes down. Why do you praise this mage so much? Is this really so mysterious? The future Doctor Who, at the moment, was confused. Could it be that a rich man like Tony doesn't actually do as he pleases? I don't want to be such a person, I want to be a powerful ability who can do whatever I want. Now that my ability has appeared, next, I want to strengthen my ability. Since Tony values Qin Mage so much, I want it too. It's just a company, as long as I have the strength, I can go back and do what I have always wanted to do. Get rid of those who threaten me to leave my homeland and become the king of a country. Victor set a goal for himself in his heart. And this goal is actually extremely similar to Dr. Doom's goal. It has to be said that after being stimulated, Victor's thoughts are always so radical and the same. Qin Hao narrowed his eyes. His spiritual power has been paying attention to the other party. Interesting. As expected of Dr. Doom. Finally got to this point. But this time, with me here, it won't be so easy for you to make trouble. Turn around, give me a part-time job first. Solar radiation, what should be done? Victor was finally about to ask the question he was most interested in. It's very simple, I'll take you into space. Qin Hao said indifferently. Go to space? Are there any recent space missions? Victor looked puzzled. At least he didn't know about space missions. No need, you must have suitable clothes of that new material, hurry up and put on a suit and then put on the aviation suit. Hearing Qin Hao's words, Victor still wanted to speak. Tony saw the other party's doubts at a glance. If it were me, I wouldn't ask so many questions, it's just a change of clothes anyway. Victor clenched his fists when he heard this. I'm going to our newest lab, where I've recreated the newest spacesuit. I was planning to use it next time, but it almost didn't work. Qin Hao snapped his fingers lightly. Everyone on the scene switched positions directly. In the laboratory, a set of clothes made of the new material was displayed. Surprised, Victor took it orally in a daze. Includes a spacesuit. I'm ready. Wow, it's still a bit bloated. Looks like after my research, it's not such a bloated armor to go into space. Tony saw that this was an aviation suit developed in the last century, and he looked disgusted. This thing is not cool at all. You give way first. Qin Hao's body was shrouded in a layer of fiery red power. Behind him, a pair of energy wings spread out, wantonly emitting its light 450. Phoenix Force. The door of the secret method is fleeting. The special raging sound of the solar storm is also fleeting. When Victor reacted, he was already floating in the air at the moment. There is nothing around except Qin Hao with his wings spread wide. In the blink of an eye, he has come to space. His heart was shocked and collapsed. I have spent so much experience, and it turned out that someone can directly appear in space with a physical body. This makes their research seem useless. Could it be that technology is not as good as cultivation and mutation? A deep sense of failure arose in his heart. Even overwhelmed the shock of at the moment. I have to say that Dr. Doom was originally a crazy guy. Otherwise, it would be impossible to do so many things. Even in the second Fantastic Four, the Silver Surfer's surfboard was taken away. Crazy and meticulous mind is his weapon. Finding ways to improve his own strength is the principle he has been working hard to practice. At the moment, I have seen this kind of power that surpasses ordinary people, and even surpasses ordinary superpowers. A wave of ambition swelled in his heart. Strength. He needs strength. No matter what, he must gain strength. Gain strength from Qin Yu. When he was able to surpass Qin Hao, he was considering other forces. So, listen to Qin Hao now. He said east, never west. If he wants shares, then give him more shares. Wait until you surpass him, and then get back what belongs to you. Qin Hao, who was standing casually in the void, felt the thoughts of Dr. Doom. There was a gleam in his eyes. Good guy, the other party is really a person with crazy ideas. However, if you have such an idea, then you really have to work for yourself. Exceed oneself? Copy your ability to find out. End of the chapter. Like and subscribe for more videos like this.